history. New Zealand very much defined the early years of the Morgan method and the Morgan revolution with Brendan McCullum's team, but this Kane Williamson-led outfit are a more controlled and a less emotional outfit. The news from the middle is that Kane Williamson has won the toss and elected to field, and which is no huge surprise. Dew is not expected to be a major factor in Abu Dhabi. It hasn't been significantly yet in the tournament. They are unchanged, New Zealand, for the fourth game running after bringing Adam Milne into the playing 11. England to make a one enforced change, of course, with Jason Roy's calf strain ruling him out of the tournament. Pretty much as expected, Jonny Bairstow moves up to open, and they've decided for the batter instead of the extra bowling all-rounder. Sam Billings gets the nod ahead of, for example, David Willey or Tom Curran. So England, who'll bat first lineup with just Buttler and...
The finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Daryl Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
A team looking to build a dynasty that built its model on their opponents today, just for their opponents today to moderate their approach and go back to an older, cannier style that has seen them reach semi-final after semi-final, final stage after final stage, but until now at least not yet get over the line in an ICC tournament. Last time's beaten finalists against the team who've got to the semis 3 times. England against New Zealand. Nobody mentioned boundary countbacks. God damn it. Hello and welcome to Guerrilla Cricket's coverage of England versus New Zealand, the first semi-final of the Men's T20 World Cup 2021 from the Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. I'm Knuckle Mpande, your host for today, and I'm joined first up today from our crew of 6 fine folk, Harry Everett and Tony Bishop. Sporting colours and sporting a slightly sort of Lockie Ferguson-esque Movember tash, or it's coming on quite nicely. A little Anrich here, perhaps, who we won't be seeing in the semi-finals after South Africa failed to qualify. In Australia, Pakistan, of course, tomorrow, a game with plenty of World Cup history in T20 cricket. Remember Michael Hussey in 2010, but it's England versus New Zealand with some more recent history. New Zealand very much defined the early years of the Morgan method and the Morgan revolution with Brendan McCullum's team, but this Kane Williamson-led outfit are a more controlled and a less emotional outfit. The news from the middle is that Kane Williamson has won the toss and elected to field, and which is no huge surprise. Dew is not expected to be a major factor in Abu Dhabi. It hasn't been significantly yet in the tournament. They are unchanged, New Zealand, for the fourth game running after bringing Adam Milne into the playing 11. England to make a one enforced change, of course, with Jason Roy's calf strain ruling him out of the tournament. Pretty much as expected, Jonny Bairstow moves up to open, and they've decided for the batter instead of the extra bowling all-rounder. Sam Billings gets the nod ahead of, for example, David Willey or Tom Curran. So England, who'll bat first lineup with just Buttler and...
The finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, Guerrilla Cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Daryl Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, Guerrilla Cricket.
A team looking to build a dynasty that built its model on their opponents today, just for their opponents today to moderate their approach and go back to an older, cannier style that has seen them reach semi-final after semi-final, final stage after final stage, but until now at least, not yet get over the line in an ICC tournament. Last time's beaten finalists against the team who've got to the semis 3 times. England against New Zealand. Nobody mentioned boundary countbacks. God damn it. Hello and welcome to Guerrilla Cricket's coverage of England versus New Zealand, the first semi-final of the Men's T20 World Cup 2021 from the Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. I'm Nakul Pandey, your host for today, and I'm joined first up today from our crew of 6 fine folk, Harry Everett and Tony Bishop. sporting colours and sporting a slightly sort of Lockie Ferguson-esque Movember tash, or it's coming on quite nicely. A little Anrich Nokia, perhaps, who we won't be seeing in the semi-finals after South Africa failed to qualify. In Australia-Pakistan, of course, tomorrow. A game with plenty of World Cup history in T20 cricket. Remember Michael Hussey in 2010, but it's England versus New Zealand with some more recent history. New Zealand very much defined the early years of the Morgan method and the Morgan revolution with Brendan McCullum's team, but this Kane Williamson led outfit are a more controlled and a less emotional outfit. The news from the middle is that Kane Williamson has won the toss and elected to field, and which is no huge surprise. Dew is not expected to be a major factor in Abu Dhabi. It hasn't been significantly yet in the tournament. They are unchanged, New Zealand, for the fourth game running after bringing Adam Milne into the playing 11. England to make a one enforced change of course with Jason Roy's calf strain ruling him out of the tournament. Pretty much as expected, Jonny Bairstow moves up to open, and they've decided for the batter instead of the extra bowling all-rounder. Sam Billings gets the nod ahead of, for example, David Willey or Tom Curran. So England who'll bat first lineup with just Buttler and...
The finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Daryl Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
A team looking to build a dynasty that built its model on their opponents today, just for their opponents today to moderate their approach and go back to an older, cannier style that has seen them reach semi-final after semi-final, final stage after final stage, but until now at least not yet get over the line in an ICC tournament. Last time's beaten finalists against the team who've got to the semis 3 times. England against New Zealand. Nobody mentioned boundary countbacks. God damn it. Hello and welcome to Guerrilla Cricket's coverage of England versus New Zealand, the first semi-final of the Men's T20 World Cup 2021 from the Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. I'm Nakul Mpande, your host for today, and I'm joined first up today from our crew of 6 fine folk, Harry Everett and Tony Bishop. sporting colours and sporting a slightly sort of Lockie Ferguson-esque Movember tash, or it's coming on quite nicely. A little Anrich Nokia, perhaps, who we won't be seeing in the semi-finals after South Africa failed to qualify. In Australia, Pakistan, of course, tomorrow. A game with plenty of World Cup history in T20 cricket. Remember Michael Hussey in 2010, but it's England versus New Zealand with some more recent history. New Zealand very much defined the early years of the Morgan method and the Morgan revolution with Brendan McCullum's team, but this Kane Williamson led outfit are a more controlled and a less emotional outfit. The news from the middle is that Kane Williamson has won the toss and elected to field, and which is no huge surprise. Dew is not expected to be a major factor in Abu Dhabi. It hasn't been significantly yet in the tournament. They are unchanged, New Zealand, for the fourth game running after bringing Adam Milne into the playing 11. England to make a one enforced change, of course, with Jason Roy's calf strain ruling him out of the tournament. Pretty much as expected, Jonny Bairstow moves up to open, and they've decided for the batter instead of the extra bowling all-rounder. Sam Billings gets the nod ahead of, for example, David Willey or Tom Curran. So England will bat first lineup with just Buttler and...
The finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Daryl Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
A team looking to build a dynasty that built its model on their opponents today, just for their opponents today to moderate their approach and go back to an older, cannier style that has seen them reach semi-final after semi-final, final stage after final stage, but until now at least not yet get over the line in an ICC tournament. Last time's beaten finalists against the team who've got to the semis 3 times. England against New Zealand. Nobody mentioned boundary countbacks. God damn it. Hello and welcome to Guerrilla Cricket's coverage of England versus New Zealand, the first semi-final of the Men's T20 World Cup 2021 from the Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. I'm Nakul Mpande, your host for today, and I'm joined first up today from our crew of 6 fine folk, Harry Everett and Tony Bishop. sporting colours and sporting a slightly sort of Lockie Ferguson-esque Movember tash, or it's coming on quite nicely. A little Anrich Nokia, perhaps, who we won't be seeing in the semi-finals after South Africa failed to qualify. In Australia, Pakistan, of course, tomorrow. A game with plenty of World Cup history in T20 cricket. Remember Michael Hussey in 2010, but it's England versus New Zealand with some more recent history. New Zealand very much defined the early years of the Morgan method and the Morgan revolution with Brendan McCullum's team, but this Kane Williamson led outfit are a more controlled and a less emotional outfit. The news from the middle is that Kane Williamson has won the toss and elected to field, and which is no huge surprise. Dew is not expected to be a major factor in Abu Dhabi. It hasn't been significantly yet in the tournament. They are unchanged, New Zealand, for the fourth game running after bringing Adam Milne into the playing 11. England to make a one enforced change, of course, with Jason Roy's calf strain ruling him out of the tournament. Pretty much as expected, Jonny Bairstow moves up to open, and they've decided for the batter instead of the extra bowling all-rounder. Sam Billings gets the nod ahead of, for example, David Willey or Tom Curran. So England, who'll bat first lineup with just Buttler and...
The finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than red counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Daryl Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
A team looking to build a dynasty that built its model on their opponents today, just for their opponents today to moderate their approach and go back to an older, cannier style that has seen them reach semi-final after semi-final, final stage after final stage, but until now at least not yet get over the line in an ICC tournament. Last time's beaten finalists against the team who've got to the semis 3 times. England against New Zealand. Nobody mentioned boundary countbacks. God damn it. Hello and welcome to Guerrilla Cricket's coverage of England versus New Zealand, the first semi-final of the Men's T20 World Cup 2021 from the Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. I'm Knuckle Mpande, your host for today, and I'm joined first up today from our crew of 6 fine folk, Harry Everett and Tony Bishop. sporting colours and sporting a slightly sort of Lockie Ferguson-esque Movember tash, or it's coming on quite nicely. A little Anrich Nokia, perhaps, who we won't be seeing in the semi-finals after South Africa failed to qualify. In Australia, Pakistan, of course, tomorrow. A game with plenty of World Cup history in T20 cricket. Remember Michael Hussey in 2010, but it's England versus New Zealand with some more recent history. New Zealand very much defined the early years of the Morgan method and the Morgan revolution with Brendan McCullum's team, but this Kane Williamson led outfit are a more controlled and a less emotional outfit. The news from the middle is that Kane Williamson has won the toss and elected to field, and which is no huge surprise. Dew is not expected to be a major factor in Abu Dhabi. It hasn't been significantly yet in the tournament. They are unchanged, New Zealand, for the fourth game running after bringing Adam Milne into the playing 11. England to make a one enforced change, of course, with Jason Roy's calf strain ruling him out of the tournament. Pretty much as expected, Jonny Bairstow moves up to open, and they've decided for the batter instead of the extra bowling all-rounder. Sam Billings gets the nod ahead of, for example, David Willey or Tom Curran. So England will bat first lineup with just Buttler and...
The finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Daryl Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
A team looking to build a dynasty that built its model on their opponents today, just for their opponents today to moderate their approach and go back to an older, cannier style that has seen them reach semi-final after semi-final, final stage after final stage, but until now at least not yet get over the line in an ICC tournament. Last time's beaten finalists against the team who've got to the semis 3 times. England against New Zealand. Nobody mentioned boundary countbacks. God damn it. Hello and welcome to Guerrilla Cricket's coverage of England versus New Zealand, the first semi-final of the Men's T20 World Cup 2021 from the Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. I'm Nakul Mpande, your host for today, and I'm joined first up today from our crew of 6 fine folk, Harry Everett and Tony Bishop. Sporting colours and sporting a slightly sort of Lockie Ferguson-esque Movember tash, or it's coming on quite nicely. A little Anrich Nokia, perhaps, who we won't be seeing in the semi-finals after South Africa failed to qualify. In Australia, Pakistan, of course, tomorrow. a game with plenty of World Cup history in T20 cricket. Remember Michael Hussey in 2010, but it's England versus New Zealand with some more recent history. New Zealand very much defined the early years of the Morgan method and the Morgan revolution with Brendan McCullum's team, but this Kane Williamson led outfit are a more controlled and a less emotional outfit. The news from the middle is that Kane Williamson has won the toss and elected to field, and which is no huge surprise. Dew is not expected to be a major factor in Abu Dhabi. It hasn't been significantly yet in the tournament. They are unchanged, New Zealand, for the fourth game running after bringing Adam Milne into the playing 11. England make a one enforced change of course with Jason Roy's calf strain ruling him out of the tournament. Pretty much as expected, Jonny Bairstow moves up to open, and they've decided for the batter instead of the extra bowling all-rounder. Sam Billings gets the nod ahead of, for example, David Willey or Tom Curran. So England, who'll bat first lineup with just Buttler and...
The finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, Gary
to you with one of those actually, Tuffers. I think you could be a swept back look. I think so.
Okay. Whatever you say.
Well, I think you could.
I'll give it some thought, John.
Well, I think you should.
I think you should
take years off you. In goes Neesham and bowls, and that's a lovely drive from Malan out towards that deep cover boundary. Chase there for the fielder, and that's perfectly placed. Oh, the keeper, the fielder there has gone catapulting over the boundary edge. I hope he's okay. It's Phillips who threw himself at that.
He's a solid lad.
Well, he is, but he's looking at his fingers. He's calling for some help, I think.
It's not a dislocation, is it?
He vaulted the boundary because he had to, really. There's quite a lot of space between the boundary rope and there's very hard electronic hoardings, the advertising hoardings that run around the ground. He found himself, I think, having to fling himself over it. He's called for some attention anyway from the physio. We've seen one or two incidents in the course of this tournament in which there's been some damage caused to fielders out there, and he is in pain. He is in pain, and he's wrapping. Yeah, he's cut himself right across his knuckles.
I think Ben Stokes had a similar incident on
he's dislocated it.
Advertising hoarding. He cut himself quite badly on
there
it.
There you go. Pops it back in.
Is that what's happened?
Yeah, he's just popped a little. He's just dislocated a little.
It's that sort of knee raise, that sort of knee trembler at the last moment. Up it goes. Oh, is that what it's all about?
There you go. Pop it back in. You'll be all right.
Take some experienced that before, Isha. I'll leave that with you and bring in Tuffers.
I haven't, thankfully. There's a few penguins left, by the way, if you want any.
I did.
Yeah?
I did, yes, on pre-season training. First ball of the pre-season tour. I slipped on the AstroTurf, put my hand down, and it sort of went into the gully from the AstroTurf to the pitch, you know what I mean?
No.
And corkscrew when they sort of lift up and go back and slot back there. And unfortunately, the physio, who I was then yelping with pain, came running out to try and sort of grab them and put them back into place. But he was putting on sun cream at the time. So his hands were all greasy and he couldn't grab hold of the fingers. I was going Yeah, it took about 10 minutes for him to actually then get some sort of gloves and manage to pull them back in. But that can be painful.
And he carried on, of course.
No, I went home the next day.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't going to let me stay in Portugal for 2 weeks, not doing any pre-season training, Neesham. That would have been a little bit dangerous.
I have no idea why.
No.
He's just
he's getting the full,
he's getting full treatment.
Full Monty.
Hand now being wrapped up to protect that grazing on the back of his hand. So, a little break in play. England having been asked to bat 67 for 2 after 10 overs. Carlos, when he was on, Phil, said 180.
Oh, take that. Love that in the semi-final.
England would be hoping for.
Not
160 minimum.
Yeah.
But at the moment it feels a little bit
170.
But they've got Morgan, Billings, Livingstone to come.
Yeah. I'd be tempted. I'd be tempted to get Livingstone.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw him in that 100 final, didn't we? Which he unfortunately got run out in, but he was chasing that down single-handedly.
He smoked a couple of massive sixes.
Yeah.
The other day.
Oh, did you see the 112 metre one? Yeah, did you see the 112 one? That was
and you just knew because of the sound. It was.
No, that was a huge. I think I was on commentary at the time. And I said that was a 12. And it should have been a 12 because it was bouncing down to Abu Dhabi.
Well, here we go.
He's straight into the bowl.
Yeah, he's taken a tumble. He's had his hand wrapped up, and he's gonna.
He's a tough boy.
His captain has rewarded him by giving him the ball.
Thanks very much. Not even an overs break.
Right.
It's going to be tough these days.
Phillips. And a bit of off spin to the left-handers as Moeen drives down the ground, falls in front of the fielder steaming in there. Trent Boult throws it in as they pick up 1. Moeen to 5, 68 for 2. We're into the 11th over.
I'm not seeing the batters look to use their feet at all to the spin bowlers. There might be just a little bit of something in this pitch. Usually you see the likes of Malan and these guys, coming down the pitch trying to hit over the top. And there with Moeen just looking to hit from the crease. Phillips. Might just be a bit of turn there.
Spins himself a catch. Bowling round the wicket as Malan into out, past extra cover, out to the boundary. And it's a characteristic shot of David Malan. We see him play it so elegantly. There was a little bit more force behind this one as he gets 4, moves to 19, 72 for 2 in the 11th, England.
Yeah, back away to leg side, giving himself some room deep in the crease as well, and just angled it over extra cover. You've got to make sure you get the elevation there, and it was quite full, but just managed to bop it over extra cover into the gap, 4 runs. Beautiful shot.
See, Aggers is now tucked into the biscuits.
He won't be dunking them, though.
Not with the cupboard.
His face, he couldn't believe it. Disgust that you dunk in a
There weren't many left already. Have you ever heard of a Tim Tam slammer? Phillips.
Is that a cocktail?
Around the wicket, down the leg side as Malan looks to reverse the ball down to the boundary.
Is that
no
a cocktail,
run.
Andy said? A Tim Tam slammer.
It should be, though, a cocktail.
Should be.
I reckon I could think of a good concoction.
Sounds like a new format for cricket.
So
Tim Tam Slammer.
It could be one.
Oh, he's done it again.
One over aside as Malan is into out again.
it's
Out,
beautiful.
just chips it into that gap. Beats a man running around at deep cover, and Trent Boult at long off, running to his right. Perfect placement. It's all precision, really, the way he just guides that ball. It's a check shot. Another 4 for him.
He's hit 3 or 4 through there. And New Zealand are going to have to try and stem the flow, because that is just, it seems so easy, but that is probably one of the most difficult shots in the book to play and get it right. But as you say, that is his trademark, isn't it?
Am I right in thinking that this is Phillips's first bowl of the tournament?
It is. He's bowled very little for New Zealand. He bowled a few overs earlier in the year against Bangladesh and
As
Australia.
Malan clips the ball to deep mid-wicket. Phillips is on the charge. There is no man in the inner circle, so he's having to try and collect it, but is beaten by the deep mid-wicket fielder steaming in. So they'll pick up 1, 77 for 2 England. So why not have a bowl in the semi-final, Phil?
Have a bowl in the semi-final, and the ball beforehand, you've fallen in and ripped your hand and dislocated your fingers. I don't quite understand the logic of that.
I think it's a match-up thing, isn't it? He's just potentially thought match-up, but against 2 very good players of spin.
Yeah.
Final ball of the over then. It's gone for 10 so far. Bangs it into the pitch. Moeen Ali works the ball out to deep mid-wicket for a single. So 11 overs have been bowled. 78 for 2. An experiment that didn't quite go to plan for New Zealand. Phillips with 11 off that one. Moeen on 6. Malan on 24. You can watch clips on the website and app. I'm sure you'll be able to take a look at that leap over the advertising boards there, the LED boards around the ground from Glenn Phillips.
Yeah, they are quite close, aren't they, I suppose? And he was sort of like, he cut the angle off trying to force the ball, and then he's just looked up and then, oh my God, got to try and get over the advertising ball.
In those situations, you just got to keep going, haven't you?
Well, if you're going to tackle well, go 100%. Completely take it out. Don't try and take it. Don't pull out of it. That's how you do yourself more dangerous.
Adam Milne has returned. 1 for 2 for him. Andy, I'll bring you in just a second. Moeen Ali on 6, just assessing the field. So is David Malan.
Counts the field. I don't know why they do that. Why do they count them? Do they think they've snuck an extra one on?
Maybe. Milne bounding in to a left-handed Moeen Ali, who just bunts the ball out to a wider schlong on for a single. Moves to 7, 79 for 2 in the 12th. So got a little bit more hair around his chin, Adam Milne, trying to grow that beard, a bit like his captain. He's got a long way to go until he reaches the full kind of bushiness of Kane Williamson.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Grizzly Adams, that, isn't it? Kane Williamson.
Sorry, Andy.
Well, after what Tuffle was saying, I'd just like to say the BBC does not encourage people to rugby tackle advertising hoardings as a matter of policy.
As Milne is into Malan, driving past extra cover, gets power behind that as Phillips is trying to chase the ball down. It's well fielded on the boundary. Dives, reaches out that left arm. In the process, goes over the boundary, but is able to come back. In the meantime, England have picked up 3. So 82 for 2 now in the 12th.
That is the area that you can score heavily, and as you say, he's so good through there, Malan, extra cover, because all you've got to do is get it past that man at extra cover. Mid-on's usually straight, and the man on the cover boundary is usually sort of more square. So, he's at his elbow now, I think. He's in the wars, Phillips. He's done well there, because he's had to go with the same hand that he's just had patched up and bandaged up, and I think he's done something to it again. That's not going to be no good to batting. That's the top. Is he right-handed, isn't he?
He is, but he's very bottom-handed.
Just as well.
As Moeen Ali back and across,
Shot.
punching out to deep cover. Milne, that angle across him. He'll get one. And 83 for 2 now, England in the 12th. 91 miles an hour, that one from Adam Milne, who was the leading wicket taker in the 100, of course.
Well, didn't he?
Yeah. Birmingham Phoenix.
Didn't go for any runs
teammates. Milne to Moeen Ali. Gets David Malan on strike. 27 off 18 then.
Handy replacement to have for Lockie Ferguson,
Yes,
isn't it?
very. England have had their fair share of replacements as well. Just showing the depth in their squad as Malan's in his crease, clipping out to deep mid-wicket, going Yorker length. Adam Milne on the toes. Just trying to protect his feet there, I think. David Malan as he gets one, 28 off 19, throw sent in. 84 for 2 in the 12th. 2 more balls left of this over. It's gone for 6 so far. So Tim Tam Slammer.
Yeah, go on.
Tim Tams, they're a little
I'll have
bit
2
like
of them in the
penguins.
packet
You
of
get
cheese
them in
and
Australia.
crisps.
That sounds like a nice and healthy diet, Phil.
Go on.
As Milne steams in past the umpire, slow ball into the pitch. Moeen Ali looking to pull the ball away and misjudges it. Goes underneath the bat, and it's a couple of bounces to the keeper. So 1 more ball left of this over. So you bite each end of the Tim Tam.
Right, which is what?
And then you suck through the tea. So you put it in the tea and then suck through.
What's a Tim Tam, first of all?
So a Tim Tam's like a penguin, but you get it in Australia.
Oh, okay, right. And it's got a hole in the middle of it.
Well, not really. It's just got kind of the texture of the chocolate is a bit like a penguin. In between the biscuit is.
No.
Moeen Ali drives the ball out to deep cover, made into a full toss. Bowling of Milne. Final ball of the over. They pick up 185 for 2 off 12.
Our ABC listeners will know about
Yes, they will.
Fusion food gone mad.
Fusion food.
They've just made a pretty. It might be a bit too late for them, but they've just moved that cover point on the boundary round to a little bit more extra cover for Malan. A good bit of captaincy there by Williamson, trying to cut down those just easy extra covers for drives for 4.
And you were talking about Malan and his record against New Zealand. I wonder if that might have been something that Eoin Morgan thought about when they put him in at 3.
Does he usually bat at 3?
He does, but they've been kind of shifting him up and down throughout this tournament, depending on the situation. If they're looking to chase and they just want a bit of calm, then he's generally gone in. But if they want someone to really attack,
blast,
which they probably would have done in that situation, they've been looking elsewhere. So I think.
But it does make me laugh. I mean, we always sort of talk about, Malan sort of being calm and everything. He's got 28 off of 19.
Yeah, well, he has. But I also think that's because he feels confident playing against his team.
Yeah.
Sodhi is back, bowling over the wicket, the leg spinner to
Wide.
Moeen Ali down the leg side. Bearded Sodhi, born in India, moved to New Zealand when he was just 4 years old. Has been very effective for New Zealand this tournament. Picked up wickets across the way.
I think that's mainly because
As Ali advances, plays it out to deep mid-wicket. He's going to push the second as the throw is sent in, and Moeen Ali has to run back. Malan sending him back for that 2. So Moeen moves to 10, 87 for 2 in the 13th.
he's one of those leg spinners that he's almost his inconsistencies, because he is a bit inconsistent.
Yeah.
He's not particularly accurate, because he can throw you in an half track or he can throw you in a wide one. Sort of count for him, because you just don't quite know where he's going to bowl it, and you can't really set yourself to just sort of get in a position. Sometimes if you're so consistent in an area, you can just sort of tag him a bit.
Malan has a quick peek out to the leg side boundary. Sodhi in, gets a reverse out, and it's a diving stop from Jimmy Neesham at point. They come through for 1. So sold him a dummy there by looking out to the leg side. 29 of 20 deliveries, 88 for 2 England.
Was that a no-look reverse sweep, was it?
Well, he had a quick look over in that direction, so.
Like the old basketball, when they look that way and pass the ball that way.
We have seen that a couple of times, a couple of slog sweeps.
Yeah. Trying to bluff the fielders.
Bat hovering, gets back and across, but guides the ball in front of point for a gentle, casual run moves to 11, 89 for 2.
Aggers was mentioning, Isha, that Morgan and Buttler were having quite an in-depth chat when Buttler got out. I reckon that they've just lowered their expectations of what's a winning score here a touch. You know, just that over. Malan's looking just to sort of hit ones and twos. The same with Moeen Ali, who haven't seemed like full on. I think they're just saying, let's get us to a competitive score, and if we can get some more towards the end with Livingstone or someone, that's great. I think there might just be something in this pitch.
Sodhi in reverse from Malan, who only finds short third, who's quite wide, no run. So it's not like Sharjah where you know in the last 5 overs you can get 12 and over.
Yeah.
It's slightly bigger playing surface, so...
Yeah, quite a lot bigger, actually. There's one short side, I think, at square leg.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Interesting, score predictors saying 170. We're in the 13th over, 2 balls left.
England will take that.
Malan still gets wide across his stumps and sweeps the ball out to deep backward square, but there is a fielder there to stop it from going into the boundary. Malan to 30 off 22, 90 for 2. England in the 13th.
Just singles again off of Sodhi. That was the googly, but it's just a full toss wide of leg stump. I don't necessarily think he's meant to bowl that, but he's got away with it. But he's done well. Only 4 singles this over, and that's not what England need. Got to start putting the toe down a bit here.
Ali cuts the ball in front of point out to the boundary. I think that is the shorter side of the ground because that's reached the fence in no time. So a loose delivery to finish the over for Ish Sodhi. Moeen Ali to 15, 94 for 2 after 13. Andy.
Well, lots been made of David Malan's slow starts to innings. Looking at the first 15 balls of his innings in T20 internationals since the start of 2019, he goes at 106 runs per 100 balls. That's about 6.3 runs and over in terms of sort of team progress, and that makes him one of the slower starters in international cricket. Of 48 players who've played at least 20 innings in that time since the start of 2019, he's 42nd fastest starter. However, once he gets into his innings, if you look at just from ball 15 onwards, he's one of the fastest scorers, goes at 167 per 100 balls. That's 10 and over. That puts him 8th of the 42 batsmen who've played 10 innings or more in that time and faced at least 15 balls. So once he's got through that initial phase...
Milne is in as Malan cuts the ball, but heads towards a wideish mid-off for a single.
I'll sum that up for Andy.
31, Malan 95 for 2.
I've said too much of my work in, I think.
Once he gets in, he goes at a better rate, but he's a bit of a slow starter up to 15 balls.
Yes, those are the headlines.
So we're expecting big things now. Strike rate of 170 now.
Come on. Well done, mate. Well, it's all very well and good unless he gets out in that middle period when he catches up. But he looks to be catching up at the moment.
Moeen Ali hoiks the ball out to deep mid-wicket. So a man positioned out there, Boult slightly fuller from Milne. Bowling at 90 miles an hour as he picks up 1. I just had to cut Andy off. If you're just tuning in, he's up in
Wasn't
Edinburgh.
that you got bored?
It wasn't because I was being rude and I'd had enough. He's on a bit of a delay up there in Edinburgh. I think we resort to that rule of when they're at the top of their mark, Andy, I reckon, is Milne past the stumps, tries to pull the ball, David Malan, but through to the keeper. Short one banged into the pitch, angled across it.
On pace as well. I mean, you're usually catching up with those, so I'd just be a little bit too... But what are you doing up in Edinburgh, Andy?
I just had some work up here the last couple of days, but my pictures are on a bit of a delay, so I can't see when they're at the top of the mark, unfortunately.
Not that far away, Edinburgh, is it?
Well, that's quite how it works.
Not from Manchester anyway.
No.
Malan drives back. It might go down as a drop chance from Milne, but maybe just preservation as it heads out to a wideish long on. They'll push back for 2.
Nearly cleaned him up there, Sean.
Yeah, it was sent back almost as quick as it was bowled.
Yeah.
So
cleared the old front leg, full ball from Milne, and a good middle of the bat there. Oh, it's not a bad effort, actually. He did sort of read it with the eyes and flung a hand out at it. But you're doing well to grab hold of those.
98 for 2. 2 balls left of the 14th over for England.
Been a good sort of hockey goalkeeper save. Just throwing a hand out at it, managed to get some fingers on it.
Milne bounding in. Malan getting across, but driving out to deep cover for a single. Milne following him, bowling wide of the off stump. So the shorter side is his leg side.
What's
and
the
that's why they
boundary
keep
count?
trying to get
What's the
get
boundary
across.
count, Andy? England don't feel that they've scored a lot of boundaries, do you? They haven't even hit a 6, have they? No. Feels like they've been happy with 1s and 2s, perhaps just looking for these last sort of 5 overs to really try and...
11 fours.
11
No
fours.
sixes.
Yeah.
Final ball of the over. There's men positioned on the leg side boundary, protecting that boundary. Moeen facing up to Milne, who bowls full. Moeen Ali drives to mid-off for a single, and that's 100 up for England. 100 for 2 after 14 overs. Malan 34, Moeen Ali 17, a run of ball 17. So you might say that Moeen Ali probably needs to get a bit of a move on now as well. Taking a look at the spectators on the grass banks and the cordoned off picket fences, sort of the square compartments, 10 metres by 10 metres. There's a few people dotted around. It's certainly not a full house by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely got people watching this first semi-final of 2, Pakistan against Australia tomorrow, that we'll be bringing you. A few Pakistan supporters in Abu Dhabi. So 6 overs left of this first innings. New Zealand opting to field first, which has been the trend in this tournament so far, with the dew coming in a bit later, making it a lot easier to bat. And it will be the return of Trent Boult. He sets off the left arm up towards Moeen Ali, who keeps out of full delivery and manages to get his front leg out the way, out to long on for a couple. Oh, in fact, they have come back for 2. 102 for 2, England. Thoughts, Carlos?
Yeah, I like the game within a game, with the batting lineup sent in such a way to stunt and blunt Sodhi and Santner.
As Moeen Ali chips up high in the air off the bowling of Trent Boult. There's a catch on, but it's down. Tim Southee sprinting in from the long off boundary, and he... Do you know what? I don't think he actually managed to get there. I think it might have fallen just in front of him. It's a knuckleball from Trent Boult. Moeen Ali looking to play the ball down the ground, and it goes high up in the air. He's looking to reach with his left hand as he comes forwards, Tim Southee, but just out of reach.
These advertising...
As Malan chips up and over point. Slow ball into the pitch from Boult, and they'll pick up 104 for 2.
Yeah, those advertising things, mats, whatever you call them, are so dangerous. And you just saw it there with it was Sodhi, the attempt to the catch, Sodhi landing on it, and then if you land on the grass you can slide. When you land on those things you're kind of making a debit, but then not into grass, into cloth, and it could hold you back. And it's only a matter of time before someone gets seriously injured trying to take a catch.
As Boult is in bowling a Yorker length on leg stump, and Moeen Ali has done well to get that away. Deep backward a square for 4. 108 for 2, England in the 15th over. Moeen Ali moves to 24 of 20.
Yeah, this is where the motor are now. These last 5 overs are going to be big. And they need any kind of momentum that they can get. Also, these last 5 overs, you only have 1 left from Southee and 1 left from Boult. So the other 3 overs in those 5 can have to be massive for England to get anywhere close to 160.
As Ali drives forcefully out to long off for a single. Good net delivery from Boult on that occasion. 109 for 2. Now into 25. They've got 1 over left of Milne, 1 from Sodhi. Santner's only bowled the 1. So he's been put off by the 2 left-handers out in the middle. Partnership worth 56 or 41, these 2. See Liam Livingstone and Eoin Morgan waiting in the wings as the ramp comes out from Malan. It hits him on the glove. Devon Conway is running forwards. to try and throw at the stumps, but miss fields and they get through comfortably for 1. So end of the over, England 110 for 2. Moeen Ali 25 off 21, Malan 35 off 28. 5 overs left. What can they muster, Carlos, as Aggers will come in?
With 8 wickets in hand, they'd probably be looking to go at 11 or over. That's with 55. So it's a 165.
It's a very precise calculation, Carlos. I suppose the answer is anything could happen, couldn't it? With 5 overs, 8 wickets in hand, it could be that. It could be fewer.
Could be 180 as well.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
Livingstone or Morgan has a day out and get a couple 20 run overs.
Lots of batting to come. Livingstone there was furiously loosening up, swinging his body round and so on. I can't think Wally Hammond ever did that before he went out to bat back in the day. But modern day, going out there straight from the start, hitting 6s. Southee's on his way as well, beautifully so far, but he's been smashed away for 6. And very well taken and nonchalantly taken by, it could have been a steward out there with his day glow shirt on, or maybe one of the New Zealanders backups.
Tim Seifert, New Zealand sub.
There we go. I mean, a nonchalant one-handed catch on the boundary edge. Brilliant catch.
He would have won some money for that in, I think it was South Africa that had their local T20. Took a one-hand catch, R1 million or something like that.
Well, it's a brilliant catch. You're absolutely right. That's who it was Seifert. Looked like a steward for a moment. Then goes Southee again and bowls a swipe this time, and he's caught behind. Malan is out for 41. He hit the 6. But he's fallen to a similar shot, really, to the next ball. And Southee, who really has bowled brilliantly, 1 for 21 in his 4th over, has claimed a wicket at 116 for 3 in the 16th over. And that's the end of Malan, just as he was looking there to get a bit of rhythm and get going. Conway clutched the catch. So, just Morgan or Livingstone for you?
Livingstone, right hand, left hand, and the power and the form that Livingstone has, really striking the ball, he'd have to come next for me.
Let's see, nice 41 from Malan, 30 balls, and Livingstone it is. So what can he do? I mean, he's probably the man who could decide what England do end up with here.
Yeah, when you look down what is left to come, he's the man in the most form and the most X factor.
Yeah.
He can get you a 24-run over and break the innings open, whereas the others are good players in their own right, but they'll maximise within the realm of what a normal hitter would do, whereas Livingstone can go big and he can really inflict some pain on a bowling attack at the death.
And coming in now, you don't exactly have a quick look, do you? But I mean, it's not as though it's got to come out in the 17th over and swing it around a little bit. You can have perhaps just a couple of balls to have a look, just get a bit of a feel for it. There's more feedback there going from Malan to Morgan, who's sitting legs crossed, looks very calm. He must be a little bit worried inside, I'd imagine, but is his watching on rather helplessly there. Southee's on his way, and he bowls, and the first ball to Livingstone is clipped away down the ground to mid-on. Fielder runs in, throws it back, and Livingstone is off the mark. First ball, to look again at the under edge that Malan got there through to Conway, and so on his way. So what can England muster from here? 117 for 3, halfway through the 16th over. Southee, such an experienced old campaigner at all formats of the game. Beautiful swing bowler, test matches, he'll pitch that ball up, he'll swing it around both ways. Had a lively bounce, I suppose he can probably still bowl one, but when he first appeared. He's on his way now, bowls to Moeen. That's a very full wide ball outside the off stump that he might have got away with there. Certainly Conway thought that he had. He was applauding, and Murray Erasmus, the umpire, was a generous old so-and-so. And so he let him get away with a very borderline one there. And so there's no run added. And it's 117 for 3. With 2 balls to go in the 16th over. In to bowl with the dewy ball. Moeen's on 25. Southee bowls to him, mistimes that completely, a drive down the ground. Been a lot of that mistiming actually in this innings. I wonder how true this pitch is. Doesn't seem to be coming onto the bat terribly easily.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the topic of conversation from the two recent batters that got out to Morgan. What is a good length? What is a good total? What are good plans? And I'm sure that the batters that would have spent any amount of time on the track will be feeding that information back to the bowlers as well. That's the opportunity that you have when you're bowling second.
Southee again bowls that swung away down into the leg side, mistimed again. This time by Livingstone, has only just come in, so he shouldn't read too much into that. But he mistimed the pull shot, conceded only a single, and Southee's taken 1 for 24 from his 4 overs. And that's a really excellent effort. 119 for 3 with 4 overs gone, Andy. 4 overs to go.
Well, that wicket Southee took moved him level with Lasith Malinga on 107 T20 international wickets. Their joint second highest wicket takers in this format, behind Bangladesh's left-arm spinner Shakib Al Hassan. And Southee's also, with that wicket, moved into the top 20 all-time wicket takers across all formats. He's gone ahead of Zahir Khan with 611 wickets. He's one of only 2 bowlers who's in the top 10 in the rankings in both T20 and Test cricket. And the other is player we'll see tomorrow, Australia's Josh Hazlewood.
Yeah, wonderful old campaigner. He's done his bit for now anyway. Sodhi's continuing. He's got an over left. Oh, that's a very wide ball first up. And signalled, so he must be quite an intimidating man actually, Livingstone. He stands there, you're a spinner, he knows you're going to try and do to you. The score predictor's 166. I wonder if England might grab that if they had it offered to them. Livingstone's on 2. Sodhi again bowls wide. This time Livingstone plays it off the back foot. They pick up a single. 166, that seemed... Do you fancy that?
Yeah.
Would you take it? Would you take it?
Yeah, in the final, you take 166.
Yeah, I think so.
It'll take a lot of getting up to 11 and a half or over from here.
I think I might grab that. 121 for 3 at the moment. In the 17th over, Moeen's on strike on 26. Sodhi's on his way, moves it, bowls to him. Moeen's down the pitch, swings him into the leg side. Has he hit this far enough? Yes, he has, quite comfortably. Lands it, sort of scattered the drummers there on their podium. They ran for cover as the ball thudded into the net behind him. That was an excellent shot from Moeen. It does feel that maybe this over of Sodhi's one that's going to have to go, or at least start to go. 92 metres, that one's recorded as. Down the pitch he comes. No, that's another one. Is that the same one? That's a replay. Oh, God, why can't they put replay on the screen? Why can't they? It's not difficult, is it? Just put replay on the screen. Stop it, Neesham. 127 for 3. Moeen's on 32. Ridiculous. Just shows you've got to be there, really. 127 for 3 in the 17th over. 23 from the last 12 balls. This is a live ball, I promise you. Sodhi's on his way, bowls. In any case, it does come down the pitch, has a thrash, and the ball literally dribbles 4 or 5 feet up the pitch. So went nowhere. There's the drummers. Oh, they're nice replay there. The drummers running for cover.
There's an interesting decision to bowl Sodhi if you got overs in Neesham, Milne and Boult.
It's gone for 7 so far and a wide. Still 3 balls to go. 127 for 3. Sodhi over the wicket, bowls very wide outside the off stump. Drive from Moeen, a fumble from Conway. Moeen looks skywards. Felt he missed out there. Bizarre sight of those people sitting in those little pens. Really is. I've never seen anything like that before. Isn't that odd? There they are, sitting on the bank, and all fenced in, little individual pens as Sodhi bowls, and Moeen again swings into the leg side, doesn't get hold of it. And that's fielded in the deep. They're coming back for the second. It'll have to be... Oh, they do make it. That was tight. And Sodhi looked disappointed they got 2 there. I was a bit surprised they went for it. Moeen's made his ground. Very good running, putting pressure on the man out at deep square leg. And Sodhi's got a ball to go. Tougher says he's got to go for 6. It feels rather like it. 129 for 3. In he goes. Bowles. Moeen's down the pitch. Can't hit that for 6. It was well bowled. It's very full. Boult throws it back. And, well, Sodhi's more or less delivered the goods there, I think, as the match hangs at the moment. That's a pretty good effort to go for, 10 in the wide off his last over. 130 for 3. With 3 overs left. Moeen 35. And Livingstone's only faced 3 balls. He's 3 not out, but does have it about him to be able to do some serious damage in his 3 overs that remain. But 160, 65. You have to allow in that factor for the due. Was it Ravi Bopara suggesting some sort of due factor? I think it was. Ravi was arguing that he should, if your team's batting first in these sorts of matches, should have some sort of little percentage or something added on to their score for the fact they've had to bat first and therefore bowl second with the due. Oh, he's very passionate about it. I think he saw some sort of thing he might be able to sell somewhere as being some sort of gadget that came up with the exact equation.
The Bopara and others.
Well, I was semi. I mean, I understand what he was saying. Now Milne is bowling the 18th over. It's his last. Rushes in, bowls short, is smeared into the leg side by Moeen, out towards deep mid wicket, beyond deep mid wicket. Cool. Hit that well. That was little short armour. There wasn't much of a backswing or a follow through for that. He's got a good bat, as Mo.
Could always tell that he's sold.
Gosh. Oh. Brave ball. Dug in wide outside the off stump. And he took that on and hit it beautifully. Get it bounced off that perimeter fencing. Could this be the big over that England need? 136 for 3.
Good start to it. You always want to start the over with a boundary, and a 6 is even better. Sets them up now to get a 20-run over. They desperately need one in these last 3. At least one.
Bowler under pressure. He's gone for 6 off his first ball. Moeen's waiting for him. Milne on his way again, bowls wide outside the off stump. Rather an ugly smear there from Moeen, but it should get him at least 1. They'll think about the second. Santner throws the ball in rather wildly, just getting rid of it. And it's 1 run.
Got a bit of a Birmingham Phoenix takeover. Adam Milne with the ball and Livingstone and Moeen Ali at the crease.
Absolutely.
A lot of plans would have been shared in the nets over the summer.
Well, they know each other pretty well, don't they? That's for sure. So Moeen's on the attack here, but he's at the non-striker's end. Let's see what Livingstone can do. Moeen's 42 from 30. Walks to the start of his run there, right about the 30-yard circle. Rushes in again. Livingstone's waiting for him. Is there, and he bowls short and a big swipe, and it runs down towards the man on the edge of the circle at fine leg who fields well. It went straight to him. They'll take a single. Difficult place to field that. Went pretty quickly to him. And Milne there just looked out of the corner of his eye at Livingstone. Score predictor's gone up to 169. Moeen ran well there. He was out of the blocks straight away. 138 for 3. Halfway through the 18th. Moeen back on strike. Milne again. Over the wicket. Bowls to him wide outside the off. So he's hit that down towards long off. Oh, it bounced just in front of him. I thought for a moment that was going to carry. 1 run.
Tell you what,
43.
These have been 2 overs now back to back where they've got a boundary or 6 off one of the first balls of the over, and the New Zealand bowlers have pegged back the over nicely.
Yeah, true.
And taking what could potentially be a 15-20 run over. First one went for 11, and this one has gone for 9 so far with 2 balls left.
Yeah. That's a good point. Can Livingstone find a boundary here? He's on strike. Milne runs it, bowls very wide, too wide. It's a slower ball that dribbled through to the keeper, but it's quite rightly signalled wide by umpire Erasmus. 140 for 3, 2 balls to go. Gary Stead, New Zealand's coach, looking on impassively again. He's quite a calm fella, sitting there in the dugout. Tough for coaches, my word. You used to play and go out there and do it yourself. Milne on his way again. Bowls outside the off stump. Wow. Huge blow from Livingstone, but I'm afraid it's connected with nothing, and I suspect he might be guilty of just trying to hit that too hard. He really flung everything at it. Really, the bat speed of that was incredible, but he's missed it by quite a long way, actually. On 40 for 3, the ball to go in the 18th. Over the wicket, on his way, bowls to Livingstone, who does hit it high and very hard. It's certainly got up into the night sky. It's coming down, well into the sights green. That's what he was looking to do. And the first ball and the last ball of that over went for 6. Some smiles return. I see Jason Roy there managing a smile. Sam Billings has got his helmet on, set himself back at his crease. That's a huge follow through. I don't know how he remains on his feet.
He puts everything into them shots. Everything. The bat swing is almost like a 360 from up behind the bat all the way through, hit the ball and then all the way back.
It's incredible how he's still standing. It almost takes him off his feet. Anyway, that's again created some smiles in the England area. The 86th 6th that Livingstone has hit in T20s. Highlights, of course, of this on the BBC website and the app, so you can have a look at all of this action at your leisure. There's 2 overs to go. We've got Boult coming in and bowling, and Moeen flicks him away. Low full toss this out towards deep mid wicket. Throw comes in on the bounce. Takes 1 to go to 44.
And just watching Livingstone again, that's where you talk to young players about having a good base. You can swing as hard as you want if you have a good base, and you're sure to still make good contact and be able to use your levers through the line of the ball, make contact and still stay on your feet and not lose balance. And that's why base is as important as bat swing.
And there's a drive to long off. Livingstone picks up 1. Oh, it was a fumble. Pressure due. Who knows? It's Guptill down there who just fumbled that, allowing them back for the second. Talking about due, we do have someone on the ground. At Abu Dhabi, Sharjah has been where we've seen the worst dew. The temperature here today is quite pleasant. There's a breeze. I'm no expert, but that does prevent the dew. Obviously, conditions can change. Doesn't sound like it's nailed on for dew anyway. Now this is out towards the Guptill again, who dives and can't stop it. Another boundary to Livingstone. He's getting stuck into Boult here, a bit of width, and he's swung the bat hard. And Guptill, a tall man, dived full length down to long off's left. Bottom hand in that scything sort of a shot. And Guptill couldn't quite get there.
Tough bounce. But his power.
It was always just spinning away, wasn't it? That bit of bottom hand, a slice. 150 up then. Halfway through the 19th. Livingstone on the 16th. It's the first semi-final of the T20 World Cup. England put into bat. And they're nearly towards the end of their innings now. 153 for 3. Livingstone on 16. Moeen on 44. And Trent Boult is on his way once again. He bowls a low full toss, which is driven into the offside. A slightly open face of the bat. And the fielder there picks up cleanly, throws over his shoulder. Nice piece of work there from Santner, who's left-handed. And did well to keep them down to a single. 154 for 3. So, predictions. We're all about the sort of late 160s, really.
Give me a number, Aggers.
I'm always rubbish at this sort of thing. Boult bowls a slower ball, a well-bowled bouncer. I'm going 165.
So those were 11 runs and 7 balls.
Who's going to bowl the last over?
Neesham.
They bowled one so far, went for 7. Boult's cunning. He's got 1 ball left. 154 for 3. Here he bowls again. It's driven hard by Moeen, but he's only going to get 1, I think, to the man coming in from cover. It is. Again, it's kind of the middle of the bat. There's just something about the timing. It doesn't seem like it's quite there this evening. 155 for 3. All bowled Boult. He came back well there. And there's 1 over to go. 155 for 3. Do you agree? Does it feel like a bit of, they're going hard at it, but it doesn't seem to be coming out in the middle of the bat too often.
Not many of the players played fluent cricket, timing cricket shots. A lot of it has been power.
That sound quite right. Yeah.
Probably the only person that got close to that was probably Malan with his inside out cover drives, though, with the most purely timed shots. Everything else felt like a bit of brash and a bit of power.
It may be that this is a better score that just looks on the screen, just by the way that the ball's going off the bat. 155 for 3. There's an over to go. Moeen's on strike on 45. Livingstone 17. There's still Morgan and Billings, Woakes, Jordan. There's batting to come. There's only 1 over left. What can England get here to get themselves into Sunday's final? They'll meet either Pakistan or Australia. That's tomorrow. Same times here, wherever you're listening to us now. 155 for 3. Start of the last over. Neesham's on his way, and he bowls wide outside the off stump, and Moeen drives him out towards long off. Probably only 1 as Southee picks up, gathers, throws that carefully and accurately down to the non-striker's end, and it's just a single. 156 for 3. Livingstone on strike. Neesham's got lots of variety.
I think we may see a massive one here.
You think? There's a big one coming. I wonder if anyone can clear the spaceship. Is that possible at the far end? 156 for 3. 5 balls to go. Neesham on his way over the wicket, bowls wide outside the off stump, and Livingstone has hit him hard. Down to long off, and he's caught. Caught by Santner. It wasn't a difficult catch. That's a blow for England. Livingstone out for 17. Hit it pretty well. But again, not with the power or the elevation that we've seen from him in other innings. It's rather picked out the man there. It doesn't sound meaty. Is that, do you know what I mean?
A little flat.
Yeah.
Probably either want to go over cover with that trajectory or get a bit under it. But I get what you're saying. You're not getting that nice sound off the bat.
So that's a blow. 156 for 4. With 4 balls to go, and Eoin Morgan has got to come out with 4 balls to go and do something special, really. Well, who knows? This might be enough. It might be enough. There's absolutely no way of telling.
Don't know until both teams have batted on it.
That's very, very true. So we don't know.
The team batting first has won 6 of the last 8 night games in this tournament, having won only 1 of the first 9. 1 and 9 in October. November, 6 out of 8. So something happened at Halloween has reversed the polarity of this tournament.
156 for 4. In fact, he looks at the batsman cross, so it'll be Moeen on strike. That's good news for England. 46 not out as Neesham's on his way, bowls to him a low full toss, which is scythed into the offside, and that's gone for 4. Beating Southee at long off. A welcome boundary, and Moeen goes to 50 from 36 balls. It's a thump on the back from his captain, raises his bat. Low full toss, wide outside the off stump. And he just found the place to hit it, really. He didn't try and hit it too hard. He just knew where it had to go. He knew the moment he hit it was going to be 4 runs.
There's a quality knock by Moeen Ali. You can feel as though he was struggling for a bit of rhythm and momentum with Malan, but he's motoring on nicely.
Neesham bowls and another full toss, hit into the leg side, and he's only got one for that though. Rather missed out there, and he thumps the bat with his hand. That had 6 on it, if I'm honest. It was a knee-high full bunger on the leg stump. Missed out there.
And Moeen's third T20 international half-century.
If you just visualise that again, that's gone sailing onto the bank. Neesham got away with that. 161 for 4. And it was a single, so Morgan is down on strike. Neesham again runs in, bowls to Morgan, way outside the off stump. That'll be a wide. And Moeen's got to get back into his ground quickly up at the non-striker's end. Erasmus signals wide. It's another one, 162 for 4.
Morgan telling Moeen Ali, he could bat a bit as well. So.
Yeah. Well, it's given him a sighter, isn't it, I suppose? a free sighter. But Moeen there to come scrambling back because Conway was aware that Moeen was trying to run. 162 for 4. There's 2 balls left of Ings' innings. Morgan looks around the field. What does he do? Does he just try and get one at Moeen down there for the last ball, or does he try and hit 2 boundaries here?
2 boundaries.
Yeah. Neesham on his way, bowls to Morgan, short. He tries to pull it, gets the ball away. There's a bit of a fumble there on the edge of the circle, and so they should get another run there. That was Boult, who really should only have allowed 1 there, but they've got 2. 164 for 5. Did he mistime that pull again? I'm surprised how hard Boult actually managed to deflect that away from himself. Long way.
Got a passionate fan on screen.
Very passionate England supporter, but he wants to calm down a bit. We'll send the Red Cross round in a minute. 164 for 4. And Neesham to bowl the last ball of the innings. Morgan's waiting, and he drives high into the air. He's scythed it. Man comes in to take the catch. He slips and drops it. Well, that slip might be a bit of a giveaway, but he's slipped there on his heels. Let me see if he's got spikes on or not. It's Phillips, who's had an interesting day in the field. He's had all sorts has gone on there whenever he's been around with the ball, poor chap. But he did slip badly there, and I wonder if that's an indication of dew settling on the outfield. We'll find out. But I mean, it was a bad miss. And he came running in, seemed to have everything under control, and then whoa! I mean, he slipped. Oh, that is a slip, isn't it? That's a proper slip.
That's a little ugly as well.
It was ugly. It was ugly, but his feet really went from underneath him.
He did well to keep his eye on the ball so long mid-slip, because we saw it in slow-mo, and you can see from the time his legs started to give away, and he still tried his level best, and the bowler won't be happy, but not much more he could have done, to be honest.
No, he's had a curious day in the field, and he needs to go and be sort of patched up, really. But there's some high fives, low fives, and general smiles there amongst the New Zealanders as they walk off. And England have set them 167 to win. Well, that's runs on the board. It's runs on the board. But just a couple of moments there, look, he's walking off with a towel there. Just suggestions that there's a bit of dampness around. But England really have just got to put that away to the back of their minds, get out there and know they've got 166 runs on the board and get out there and win the game.
I wonder how that would affect Morgan's plans for Rashid, because we see him bowl in the power play, just after the power play when spinners normally do bowl. And we saw him using the death a couple of times. Will it be wet or too wet? He can't be using the death, and as a result the dew forces Morgan to bowl him when the ball is most dry. So it'll be interesting to see how the dew and the surroundings counteract the plans that Morgan will have going into the game.
And Moeen at the start again, you're probably more inclined to do that at the start of the innings, maybe.
Yeah, who they have Daryl Mitchell, Martin Guptill. Maybe you can give Rashid over at the top. Moeen goes into both of them. Rashid will spin away, and then with the new ball you don't get much spin, so you can target the stumps and hopefully get one through the gate. So that may be an option. You get one out of the way from Rashid at the 2 right-handers.
Balls out there. massage your hand first.
Well, this is Phillips.
Got a few cuts.
He's had an interesting day.
It's going to be all right for batting.
What happened? You just got it caught in the LED lights there.
No, there's a metal thing that was sitting on the other side, and as I went over, my hand went straight into it. So a little bit niggly, but it's all right.
Unbelievable commitment out there, I must say. Dare I ask, what do you do 100 metres in?
Not as fast as I used to, but I'm trying to get there once again.
Now, what about this total that England have put on the board? How do you evaluate it?
I think for us, it's about going out there with a real positive mindset and also trying to keep up with the rate. For us, we want to be able to try and finish it with an over before the end of the game, and that's the way we want to go about our business out there today.
It looked as though pace off the ball was the way New Zealand liked to go. Is the pitch a little slow?
It was a little bit hard to tell from square leg. There was a bit of mixed feedback. Some held and some went through all right. So we'll have to assess it once we get out there and play accordingly.
Key man for you, second half of the game?
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we can hit a few bombs.
Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Right, I'm not giving a huge amount away, but anyway, there we go. Glenn Phillips, talks about his hand injury and everything else. But again, just the suggestion, interesting, like Mike Atherton there talking about it, just seems a bit slow. I know Mike's there and we're not, but that seemed to be my feeling.
Even he said some are gripping, some are not.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can get a clue from the bowler if he runs his fingers down the ball, or you can see a discernible change in the pace of his hand before he delivers a slower ball. But you couldn't really tell because the batter's not making good contact. Even if they delayed our swing, you couldn't tell. So I think the pitch may be not as true as we think it is. It looks lovely, but it may not be as forgiving as we think it is.
You're a football fan, Carlos?
This is good news, or bad?
Well, I'm just looking on there. Who have you been meeting today?
Micah?
Yeah.
Yeah, not good with him being a City player, ex-City player, and me being a United supporter either. But
so that's 9:30. You can hear you've been talking to Micah Richards, yeah?
Yeah, totally better, more raucous laughs in media. It was a good hour or so that we spent together.
Okay, well that's 5 Live Sport from 9:30. It's Micah Richards with Carlos Brathwaite. It's hosted by Mark Chapman. And after the success, I'm reading here, of Carlos reading the shipping forecast, we thought it might be worth trying Carlos with the football results.
Sometimes we occasionally, Charlotte can't read the classified football results on the Saturday, and we've had to use other people. So just in case we don't get Charlotte 1 week.
Can I hear Charlotte saying it?
No.
I don't give it an option.
But Carlos, it's reading out the football results. It's not as complicated as the shipping forecast.
Can I do from Crystal Palace down? Brighton, Hove Albion 1, Newcastle United 1, Arsenal 1, Watford 0, Everton 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0, Leeds United 1, Leicester City 1, West Ham 3, Liverpool 2.
Good pace, nice and quick, like that. This will be really interesting as Micah does the classified football result.
Southampton 1, Aston Villa 0. Manchester United 0, Manchester City 2. Brentford 1, Norwich City 2. Chelsea 1, Burnley 1.
That was remarkably sultry. I thought. Well done.
I thought the idea was it was sort of almost give away the next score by Manchester United 1, Manchester City 3. I thought it was supposed to be done that sort of a way. Norwich 1, Peterborough 1. I thought it's kind of so you could sort of guess the next score.
A little bit slower, Adil.
No, I think you just need to almost give away what that score's going to be, so you're on bated breath. So it's Arsenal 2, Tottenham Hotspur 3.
Manchester United.
You'd know, you see.
Well, brilliant.
Carlos, you're not allowed to say that, but there's more at 9:30, and it's available as a podcast on BBC Sounds if you really want to listen to that. Well, I'm glad you had a nice time, Carlos. But no, that's yes, that's how the football results are always done. James Alexander Gordon, he made it sort of an art of his own.
He did, yeah. 4-4-4.
4-4, 5-4, 5.
Yeah, what was that?
Who's the other one? 4-5-4.
He's 5-5.
Did that ever happen?
Probably, might have done.
No, it might have happened. So, anyway, that's enough of that for now. What is going to happen here? 167. Whose camp would you rather be in? You've got 160. If I were to give you, first thing today, before you'd faced a ball, seen a ball, or anything else, right, I'm giving you, Tuffers, I'm giving you 166 in the bank for a semi-final.
Yeah. So tight. England would have fancied another 10 or 15 just to bump them up there for that due factor. But I'm looking at that New Zealand batting lineup, and I'm not seeing any real power hitters. We saw in England's innings, the boys were struggling to time it. I didn't score a lot of 4, only a couple of 6s. I still think England, with score on the board in a semi-final, and that sort of, okay, Kane Williamson, beautiful player, but you wouldn't class him as a power hitter. You know what I mean? In that middle order, okay, Neesham, bit of a power hitter, hasn't had a great series so far with the bat. I think England have just got their noses in front.
Win probability, according to something I'm seeing here.
Absolute other way.
No, actually, Tuffers, for once.
Yes.
You found something that agrees with you. It's showing England at 54%.
Oh, I told you, not a very big nose. Just a little nose.
Just a nostril.
Just a nostril.
A nostril ahead.
Yes.
And New Zealand at 46. So that, I guess that probably. I didn't like that slip. Didn't like that slip there from poor old Phillips coming in. I mean, it was a bit like an ice rink.
Yeah. What was the probability for super over?
Yeah, well, I think Isha wanted to super over. She was going to super overs, I think, wasn't it?
Well, they're always good fun. Yeah. Well, I'd like one. I don't want any more than one, if I'm honest.
Where does it all finish? Where could it all finish? It could be all night.
Let's keep going. So, they're taking the field. New Zealand did 167 runs to win, so the run rate required is just under 8.5 runs per over. This for a place in Sunday's final.
Game on.
To meet either Pakistan or Australia. That'll be decided tomorrow afternoon, and we'll all be here for that. So, Isha, I think you'd take us away with New Zealand scoring 167 to win.
Thanks, Aggers. Exciting stuff. Daryl Mitchell, who had never opened the batting before in any format before this tournament, and that is for New Zealand or domestically. But he's got them off to some decent starts, 27 and a 49, a couple of starts in the last 3 games, but not really going on rides. Loads, bags full of experience, over 100 T20 internationals. And he wants to make this one count. He didn't have the best of tournaments in 2019. Absolute devastation, heartbreak, falling just short, running back for that second.
If he gets going.
Yeah, if he gets going, then
he can make light work at 160.
Absolutely. Very good straight down the ground, but actually he's been really good off the short ball in this tournament. Opposition teams have been using it at him because of his strength. Straight, and it's going to be Chris Woakes open the bowling.
Sorry, it's one of those totals that you just can't get it in 1s and 2s, though. There will come some overs where New Zealand are going to feel the pressure and have to get on with it. It's whether they slog them up in the air or clear the fence.
Here comes the first ball then of the second innings as Guptill gets one away up and over extra cover. It was a loose wide one from Chris Woakes first up, and not the start that England would have wanted. 4 for no loss, New Zealand.
No, Chris Woakes usually so reliable in the power play with line and length. A little bit of touch of swing, but too short, too wide, and that's a great start for New Zealand. Get a sighter for Martin Guptill. Didn't get all of it. Could have nailed it straight to extra cover, but way over his head.
Bowled more balls than anyone else in the power play in this T20 World Cup, Chris Woakes.
Yeah, he won't be happy with that one.
Here he comes again. He's got a second slip in play. Is that a little edge as it bounces in front of Josh Buttler? Guptill trying to reach for a wide one. Loads of swing on offer, but he's just starting it a bit too wide, and I just wonder if he's a bit worried about that launch down the ground from Guptill, where he steps forwards and just smacks the ball back straight.
Yeah, but you've got to try and attack the stumps, track the stumps, bowl straight, and with that little bit of swing, go for the edge. Doesn't last long, the swing.
It's gone deep backward square on a third. Woakes bowls straight, is chipped up in the air, mid-on is in play. Moeen Ali with the catch. Chris Woakes with England's first, and it's a biggie. Martin Guptill goes for 4 for 1.
Yeah, attack the stumps, that little bit of swing. Martin Guptill turned himself round there a little bit, gets the leading edge. Lollipop catch to Moeen Ali, I think it was at mid-on. A great start for England. Those 2 warm-up balls from Chris Woakes, wide of the off-stump, changed his line. Just that little hint of swing opened Martin Guptill up, that right shoulder coming through, squares him up, and a simple catch. England off to a great start.
Yeah, I think all of the players enjoyed that one.
Crucial wicket. Martin Guptill can, if he gets going, he can destroy sides up front. So they'll be delighted with that wicket. Just puts that bit of pressure on as well. So crucial, aren't they, the power plays?
Absolutely. Disconsolate. Guptill heads off the field. As Kane Williamson is now out in the middle, joining Daryl Mitchell. Andy?
Well, it's England's 15th wicket in the bowling power play in this tournament. They were the highest wicket takers in the Super 12 group stage with 14. The next most was Australia's 11. In the first 4 games they played, they took at least 3 wickets. It was only against South Africa they only managed 1 in the power play, but they failed to take at least 3.
It might just mean that Moeen Ali can bowl in the power play as well.
Yes, because he might have thought protect him against Martin Guptill, but now
might just be able to sneak 1 or 2 out, because Williamson isn't going to unleash.
Woakes to Mitchell, who tucks the ball out to deep mid-wicket, and a straighter delivery on the stumps as Mitchell's off the mark. 5 for 1 New Zealand in the first over. Just sort of held in the pitch. Seeing it go down, it was more wobble than swing. It was a good length delivery from Chris Woakes to Guptill. So we're just seeing the celebrations from Jason Roy, who couldn't feature in this game, of course, because of that injury to the calf. And he was absolutely pumped. Well, we've just lost pictures. I'm sorry to say. That was heart in mouth moment, Phil. I was potentially going to make
it up. We could have just made it up.
Here comes Chris Woakes then. Williamson facing his best delivery as he plays at one outside the off stump, beats the edge, through to Joss Buttler, catching it chest height, and again that prodigious shape on the ball. The ball glistening under the lights in Abu Dhabi.
Really bounced and rose, and on the back foot, Mitchell trying to sort of punch it through an extra cover or a point region. England got to make the most of this ball when it's swinging. Bowl at the stumps, try and get outside edges, might even be 2 slips in.
Woakes bowls full to Williamson, who's away, clipping it through mid-wicket. Morgan on the charge, chasing it out to the boundary. He'll be beaten by Sam Billings, coming around at deep square, running to his left. And New Zealand will come back for 3 as the throw is sent in. 8 for 1 then. An eventful over to start after first over the second innings. That target of 167. Williamson to 3, Mitchell on 1.
Ball is skidding and just nipping off the pitch, just sort of kissing the pitch and leaving the batsman. I wonder if he's going to go seam both ends now. You see the ball swinging, or do you just try and get one of Moeen Ali's overs out the way in the power plays? I don't know. This is where Morgan has been fantastic. He's got his tactics right so far during this tournament. I know he has helped with the numbers, doesn't he? And the analyst and what have you. It's going
Nathan Lehman.
Yes, Nathan Lehman. It's going to be interesting which way they just decide to go.
Nathan Lehman, the team analyst, has been with the group for many years now.
Gone with the swing.
So no Moeen Ali, but they're going to go with Chris Jordan.
What would we have done there if the tennis didn't come back?
Well, Agus is dealing with replays. We're dealing with no pictures whatsoever.
He'll get it a swing, Chris, early on. won't bowl his sort of like, Yorkers and slower bowls. I think just bowl seam up and get some movement.
Still a slip in for Williamson, who's on the back foot punching to cover. No run. Goes back of the length, Jordan. Not so much swing there, but he was banging it in on that occasion.
You don't want to get too short when you've got that and it's happening for you a little bit. Just that good, hard, heavy length.
Chris Jordan, 6 wickets this tournament. Economy of 6.18. I mean, England's bowlers have been brilliant in terms of economy.
And wicket taking as well, as Andy said there. We usually get wickets. Yeah, usually get wickets in the power play.
It's been a good tournament for bowlers. Certainly these two teams anyway. Is Jordan past the stumps to Williamson, driving to mid-off, no run.
Good line, good length, getting Williamson forward. And you just feel that you can if you're going to you can slightly forward to Williamson, because he's not going to really bully you back there. He's going to classically play you down the ground past mid-on and mid-off.
He does take a little bit of time as well, a bit like David Malan, but he is a man for a situation, isn't he? If you're ever in trouble and you want someone to steer the ship, over to Captain Kane, as he just twists the bat in his hand. He's got that characteristic bat twist as he plays the ball nearly onto the stumps. Outside the off stump. We've seen this a few times from Williamson, just because he plays it so late, nearly chops it on with the inside edge onto the stumps, missing by, I reckon, about 2 inches there.
Yeah, that was unlucky.
Oof.
Yeah, it just didn't get up on his head, hit the under edge of him. And you're right, it's because he doesn't really sort of power it through there or just drop it down there. He waits on it, just got the under edge, nearly dragged it on.
Chris Jordan, gold chain protruding from his shirt. Bounding in. Ball straight to Williamson on the back foot, turning the ball out to deep mid-wicket. Moeen Ali will come round at mid-on to collect the ball and pick up 1.
Good knock by Moeen Ali, just getting England up to that score, wasn't it? 120, 130, you can kind of cruise there, can't you? 160, you have got to look to be a bit more aggressive and take risks.
It was an interesting innings, wasn't it? He bowled Santner just the 1 over because the 2 left-handers were out occupying the crease, and so tried Glenn Phillips with a bit of off spin. That over went for 11, and then
Sodhi
to figure out who was going to bowl at the end. Neesham with the 20th. Jordan in again to Mitchell, who's clipping out to deep mid-wicket. It's a long boundary out there. Livingstone nearly falling into the boundary rope as he picks the ball up on his knees and then tosses it up.
He nearly slid down the boundary.
They'll come back for a couple.
It was a little bit like Sunday morning football, that, wasn't it? You know what I mean? It was a bit dewy underground, or it's been raining. Lovely sliding tackle weather. He nearly slid over the boundary and had to then get rid of it sharpish.
Just checking a bit of fielding. In fact, they came back for 3, so Williamson back on strike. Mitchell to 4.
Already,
12 for 1. 1 more ball left. It's been a good over so far from Jordan. Spinning his bat again, Williamson. Always wears his arm guard in any format that he plays in. Williamson crouches. This time again, tucks the ball to mid-wicket as throw is sent in. That fielder coming up inside the circle. They'll pick up 1. So an over that went for 5. 13 for 1 after 2. Williamson to 5. Mitchell, on 4.
He's tucking them away quite nicely there. This time there was a man put in that position by Morgan, at that mid-wicket position. You just got the feeling that England missed out on a few boundary opportunities when they batted, or just didn't quite sort of time on those low sort of full tosses, hit deep fielders. And they left a few out there, England, but obviously there's just something. It's not coming onto the bat crisply.
There was that 1 over from Sodhi, his final one, where I thought Moeen Ali was going to tuck into him. They weren't able to get it away after the first delivery. Kane Williamson showcasing why everyone loves him once again. And just as he got to the other end there, signalling to Eoin Morgan that he dropped a cap on the way to fielding the ball as Woakes bowls down the leg side. Oh, he's got away with that one as Williamson works it to the leg side, and it finds a short fine leg fielder. No run.
He's been slightly off here, Chris Woakes. There again, that was a sort of a hip delivery to Kane Williamson, all the time in the world, just to knock it off the hip. Thankfully, Chris Jordan didn't have to move, went straight to him. Just been a bit off here.
He got a bit of tap against South Africa.
Yeah, I think most of that did,
he bowled in an over at the death. As he's in again to Williamson, tucking him up, who looks to advance and plays the ball so late. Goes behind him, trickles backwards towards the stumps. No run.
Steve Bruce. The ex Newcastle manager. Yeah, enjoying the cricket. He's out there. Pressure's off, I suppose.
Jonny Bairstow's sister next to him, Rebecca. Quite a few of the families out there as well watching. Saw Tara Morgan, Owen's wife, and I'm sure little baby Leo is out there as well. As Woakes will continue 2 dot balls then to start the over. Williamson taps his bat down, hits the pad and heads towards the offside. It kind of just skids on, angled towards the leg stump, a good length delivery. No run again. We saw this a little bit from England actually in their power play. A lot was sort of hitting the pad and bouncing off and not really able to get bat on ball. Not able to get the pace of the wicket.
Slips are out as well now. Had enough of that. 2 or 3 overs usually, isn't it? And then the ball stops swinging. You just got to then start looking to go through your skills.
Williamson gets the ramp out. It could be taken. It is. Adil Rashid running back from short fine. So after 3 dot balls, Williamson feeling the pressure, looking to go up and over to the bowling of Chris Woakes, and he's not able to get the timing on it. So a gentle catch for Adil Rashid. 13 for 2. New Zealand.
Mr. Reliable again. Chris Woakes coming in, taking wickets in the power plays for his side, as you say. Felt the pressure there, didn't he, Williamson? Going for the ramp shot just to flick it over that man at short fine leg, but it was too wide of off stump, really. Just sort of got a toe end of the bat and it just lollipopped up in the air, and Adil Rashid taking a comfortable catch. Huge wicket for England. Kane Williamson goes for 5.
Yeah, New Zealand's captain disappearing off the field.
Runs on the board in the semi-final again. I mean, we were talking about due factors and things and what they're going to do at winning the toss. At the end of the day, England have got themselves a decent total first innings. This fella can play, mind.
He can. Devon Conway, what a story he's been. New Zealand played a lot of domestic cricket in South Africa, lived in South Africa.
There again, though, you don't see him as a real power hitter, do you?
No, but he's a very good player of spin. So if he's able to stick out there, he'll be able to counteract the likes of Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid.
Yeah, sweeps, reverse sweeps.
Yeah, moved to Wellington back in 2017. Decided to make the move, sold his car, sold his house. Moved with his girlfriend up to the left.
Sold his car.
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Well,
you were moving countries.
Unless it was a lovely car.
Here comes Woakes to Mitchell, beats the edge through to Jos Buttler. It's challenging out there for New Zealand. And Chris Woakes on the verge of a wicket made and 1 more ball left of the over.
Strange shot by Williamson, usually so composed and doesn't let that sort of pressure situation sort of creep up on him, but it was a strange shot to a newish delivery, a newish ball which is bouncing and seaming and swinging a little bit. Just got the wrong length a little bit, I think.
Mitchell driving, not able to get the timing on it as it finds its way to Eoin Morgan. End of the over then, it is a wicket maiden.
2 for 8.
13 for 2 after 3 overs. Conway has just come in, not yet faced the ball, and Darren Mitchell 4 of 4.
Wicket maiden.
That is
Gold dust.
Gold dust.
Right, I'll work out exactly how gold that dust is in terms of rarity value. But
or how dusty the gold is.
I can't tell you that. When England have taken 2 or more wickets in the power play, they've won their last 11 matches and 18 of their last 20. And the stat I did mention right at the start of play in this tournament so far, there's only been 2 games won by a team chasing more than 160, only one since the start of the Super 12 stage. That was when Sri Lanka chased down 172 to beat Bangladesh. So anything over 160 has been very hard for the chasing team.
What's their win percentage then if they take 2 wickets in the first 2%?
Well, 90% in the last 20 occasions.
Good.
So that's, tidy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's tidy. England have got themselves in a good position.
Devon Conway back waving as he tries to play the ball outside the off stump to Jordan. It goes through to Jos Buttler, almost fending at that one.
Fenced at it outside the offside.
Also, in terms of teams doing what their opponents weren't necessarily expecting, we saw Phillips bowling for New Zealand earlier on. Chris Jordan very rarely opens the bowling for England. It's only the second time since the summer of 2018 that he's done so in his last 38 T20 internationals.
Yeah, I think that was a good decision again by Morgan. He gets them right more times than not, doesn't he? Seen it swinging, seen it shaping around a little bit. Get the seamer on, get the pacer on. Good decision.
Here comes Jordan again, round the wicket to Conway, defends down the pitch, no run. Of course, there is the argument that when it is dewy, try and get rid of your spinners overs as early as possible. But in a power play, you've got less protection anyway.
If it's hooping, if it's diving, if it's just kissing the pitch and seaming and swinging, I think you've got to get the bowlers for the right bowlers for the right conditions at that time of the innings.
Yeah.
And he gets it right more times than not, you know. All happens so quickly.
The left-handed Devon Conway back and across, looking to crack the ball through the offside. Bit of movement into the left-hander, goes in between bat and pad through to Buttler. So 9 dot balls in a row.
Good. Might be. Your dot ball counting is better than mine on your 6. Yes, yeah.
Well, 3 here, and the last one's a wicket maiden.
Good. Yeah, I mean, what a little passage of play this is for England. 9 dot balls.
Something's coming here. Jordan chasing a shadow, bowling down the leg side. Gives away a wide.
Yeah, bowled the last couple wide of the off stump, getting Devon Conway sort of feeling for it out there, and that one just trying to tuck him up, just got his line slightly wrong. It's tense. You're having a look at the faces. There's some wide eyes out there.
Well, England made it to 40 for 1 after the first 6 overs in similar sort of conditions. Every now and then they were looking to take a risk. It wasn't coming off in terms of the middle of the bat, but they were still able to score as Conway yet to get off the mark, tries to pull a ball, jams it into the pitch, not able to get the timing again. So the change up from Jordan, and that's now 0 off 4 deliveries for Conway.
And 1 wide off of 10 dot.
Yes, that's right.
I wish Andy was here.
Yeah.
You're doing very well, Tuffers.
Andy, can you confirm or deny that is the case? 2 balls left of this over. Jordan steaming in as Conway looking to tuck the ball to the leg side. Jordan's too quick to it. Not able to get off the mark here. This is some stretch from England.
Yeah,
pressure right on New Zealand.
Couple of great overs here by England. I mean, it's got the couple of wickets, but then also giving them nothing just to deflect, or as you said, almost get a bat, a pad, and just rotate strike. It's really drying them up. You get the feeling that there's going to be a big shot coming if it's not this ball next over, just from New Zealand to try and get some momentum. Round to a halt.
Final ball of the 4th over coming up. Jordan on the wicket again, this time lofted by Conway, up and over extra cover. That is a shot of some class. 1 bounce into the rope, and that just releases the pressure for New Zealand ever so slightly. I mean,
something had to happen.
It was going to be 12 balls without a run off the bat in a power play of T20 cricket. So Devon Conway off the mark with a 4, 18 for 2 after 4 overs.
Could have gone anywhere. Could have gone anywhere as well. As you say, it was a decent ball just on that hard back of a length outside the off stump, and he had to take a risk on way. We were just saying that we felt something was going to happen, and he's just thrown his hands at it, but managed to keep a really good shape and a middle of the bat on it, and it pops over extra cover. There's been a lot of runs scored through extra cover this game.
That was the 15th wicket maiden by an England bowler in a T20 men's international, but the 7th this year. Well, there hadn't been one since February 2018, and that was the only one in 5 years. And now, like London buses, you get one in 5 years, and then 7 come along in the space of 8 months.
How many buses come once in 5 years?
Depends where you live.
Here comes Woakes again for his third. Mitchell, a hand off the bat as he tries to loft it down the ground. It's straight, bisecting the 2 fielders, chasing after it. Chris Jordan will win that race as the throw is sent in. Mitchell picking up a couple, moves to 6.
Yeah, slower ball. Did Mitchell there, just went through it, kept his shape, and a free sort of bat swing, which was straight, and just managed to get half a bat on it. Good bit of bowling from Chris Woakes. They've decided to keep him going for his third over as well, just because he is getting that bit of movement. He's still looking threatening for a wicket, Chris Woakes here.
20 for 2 New Zealand in the 5th over. Mitchell with a press up into the air and then down and working it out to deep backward square for a 4. So Chris Woakes angling into the pads, and Mitchell able to get it away. Moves to 10, 24 for 2. It's got an interesting sort of setup. He's sort of down and then sort of stands upright before he crouches and plays the ball.
I'll tell you what it's like. It's a bit like one of those trampettes. You know, those little trampolines that you go at the gym. You're always down the gym, you know those ones, don't you? When you're back, you just sort of bounce on them and use your knees to come up. Yeah, he sort of bobs a couple of times.
Yeah, that's right. That's the word, bob.
Robert.
Woakes then, like Tim Southee did in the first innings, bowling 3 in the power play. It's gone for 2 and 4 so far. New Zealand 24 for 2 is Mitchell on the back foot, punching the ball out to long on. Mid wicket will cut it off. 1 to him. He moves to 11, 25 for 2. 3 balls left to the 5th. And bless Carlos Brathwaite.
Oh, no, another cup of tea. Lovely.
Although he's left the bag in.
Oh, crikey, all right. Be thankful.
No, I know.
Be thankful.
I'm not sure how I can get it out.
Yeah, wait, I've got a spoon here.
I'll have you. Okay.
Yeah, don't burn your fingers because it's hot. It comes out hot from that tap out
it
there.
Does.
It's a bit, it's like a volcano out there. One of those little ones that you could get sparkling water from.
Oh, you're chucking me a spoon? Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, we are still on air, aren't we? There you go, mate. Enjoy this.
As Woakes is into Conway inside edge, too short, fine. Looking to play the ball in front of him to the offside, the left-hander. Good angle across from Woakes, so no run. Devon Conway, he does remind me of Davin Malan a little bit in the way he plays through the cover region.
Yeah,
very good to get spin.
Yeah, not huge foot movement, is it? It's all sort of hands and eye coordination.
Yeah.
Sort of throwing his hands at deliveries. Not a lot of movement of the feet, but just, as you say, beautiful timer.
Conway advances, drives to mid-off, sets off, throws in and misses the stumps, but I think he was in anyway. It was Chris Jordan there with the pick up and throw. They'll come through for 1, 26 for 2 in the 5th.
And his averages are just ridiculous in all formats, aren't they? I think he averages like 40 in 50 and
there was a time
70 in tests. Just churns them out. But you still feel that he's not going to destroy. He's going to be sort of a death of 1,000 cuts instead of a great big axe.
Well, they've got players that can do that down the order, haven't they? Neesham, Phillips.
Yeah, Phillips, yeah.
Mitchell hasn't yet got going. He's on 11 off 7. Final ball coming up then of the 5th. Woakes in. Mitchell on the back foot defending that down the track. So respect shown. to the man from Birmingham. 26 for 2 after 5 overs, 2 for 16 from his 3. Conway on 5, Mitchell on 11. A few words from you, Phil, and then I'm going to enjoy my cup of tea.
Take that tea bag with you for a start. It's actually lying here. I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
It looks like it's
nasty, soggy, wet tea bag. Thank you. Oh, for goodness sake, he should.
But I mean, he's a captain's dream. As Rashid's coming on now, that's going to be interesting to see how they're going to deal with him. Lovely bit of, because he's going to be dangling the carrot for these two batsmen, because he's just going to be going, right, you've got the spinner on now, but if you lose one more wicket here, England really in the box seat.
Yep.
But I mean, Chris Woakes, John, 2 for 16 for 3 in the power play. It's just a captain's dream.
Swung nicely, and fair play to England. There's us talking about one spinner, maybe 2. They're going to open up here because of the dew and so on. No, they come on with seamers, and they've got these 2 wickets. The ball swung, and so they're absolutely on it out there. Conway 5, Mitchell 11. 2 big wickets have fallen as well. So Guptill for 4, and Williamson out for 5. The wickets really that they'd have wanted. You've had to choose.
Yeah, well, absolutely. What's he doing? This is going to be crucial. They're going to attack. Are they going to attack Rashid, or they're going to knock him around?
Well, let's see. He's on.
Conway will sweep.
Let's see how he's gripping this ball. 26 for 2. It's the 6th over, the last in the power play. Back goes Conway. Forces him through the covers. Nice shot to start with. And there'll be 4 runs to New Zealand. Rashid dropping a little bit short, but that width allowing Conway to hit that hard off the back foot through the covers with nobody back there. So
that's that bit of dew. That's that dew where England were finding it hard to New Zealand spinners off the back foot to time it, when that little bit of dew just makes it skip off the pitch, and you can just time it without sort of trying to overhit it.
It was a good shot, that. But it was not very short, to be honest, looking at that again. A beautiful position. Rashid once more moves in bowls, tossing it up. Oh, and he tossed up a little bit more there, and almost did Conway in the flight. He checked his stroke, found Jordan straight down the ground, and it's another single. So 5 from the over so far. 31 for 2. So that's coming from Abu Dhabi. It's the first of the semis, and the second is tomorrow between Australia and Pakistan, and the final on Sunday.
Would you fancy out that, John?
Pakistan are just going well, aren't they? They are at the moment.
Was he just building some momentum?
Indeed.
Great for semi-final.
Yeah, it should be a very good game, actually.
Yeah.
31 for 2. Here's Rashid floating up. There's the wrong one again that no one ever picks. Spun into the pad. It's been given not out by the umpire, and England not reviewing that. It's floated up at a lovely, lovely trajectory. Mitchell struck on the front pad. Mitchell bends at the knee. 31 for 2. Now he drives, clipping the wall away down to long on. Bairstow is the fielder. And there's one more taken. 32 for 2. We're in the 6th over. So New Zealand's reply, they want 167 to win. Watching on, expectant.
Big staff the Kiwis got over there.
They have. Rashid again bowls, and that's a sweep. The ball bounces away. But, Buttler couldn't collect that. I assume that's been signalled to wide. One more going up to the score. No, he got away with that. It must have clipped the pad. Must have clipped a little something going through, which of course immediately means that that's not the case. So 32 for 2. The ball to go in the 6th. Rashid, wearing 95 on his shirt, bowls wide outside the off-stump. A handsome drive. Beautiful stroke from Conway. There's something about a left-hander's extra cover drive that just stands it apart. Bit of flair, something about it, but that was just the most graceful shot.
Slightly tossed up. It was the wrong one. It was the wrong one again, trying to go past the outside edge of the left-hander, but great use of the feet, gets to the pitch of the ball, and that's classical, as you say.
It's a perfect shot. I mean, that's for all the slogging and swiping and everything else that you see in T20 cricket. There's still space for strokes like that. It was just absolutely perfectly placed.
If you'd have had a deep extra cover this game, you'd have saved a lot of runs and just left extra cover open.
Yeah.
You would have saved a lot of runs.
Absolutely perfect shot. 36 for 2. 6 overs gone. Conway 14. Mitchell has 12. Andy Zaltzman has got something to announce at the end of that power play.
Well, on Chris Woakes, who's been outstanding for England in this tournament. In the power plays, he's taken 6 wickets in 15 overs for 78, so averaging 13 with an economy rate of 5.2. Prior to that in his T20 career, he'd had a long break between a few games in the early part of the last decade, and when he came back into the side, he'd taken in the power play in 10 innings, 2 for 176 and gone at over 9 and over. So he's really stepped up to the plate in this World Cup.
Certainly has. Swung the ball. And he's taking wickets, that's the key, isn't it? So we've got Mark Wood on now. He was a bit rusty the other day, hasn't played very much cricket, of course. He was injured at the start of this tournament. Comes in now and bowls on off stump. That's a perfect line and length. And Mitchell, who's right-handed, tries to run the ball towards third man, doesn't get there. It's intercepted by Morgan. And so no run for New Zealand, chasing 167. Chris Silverwood smiling still, just about. He's got his cap on. Watching on intently. Silver-haired these days. Can't remember him as a young man when he first appeared for England. Seemed ever so young. There he is now as the head coach, in charge of everything really to do with the running of the England men's team. Picks the team with the captains. 36 for 2, and that's on about leg stump, but driven offside-ish by Mitchell. And so Wood can field that in the follow-through as well. And there is no run, so 167 the target. Runs on the board does count for a lot in tight games like semi-finals. You've got them there, you know you've got to chase a score to win. It can make things hard. And it's a confidence thing, isn't it, Carlos? Once you start winning, once you win a few games chasing, then again it just gets you in that groove, and you think you can, or sometimes you think you can get anything. Here's Wood bowling, and that's flogged into the leg side. Got it away down to the man coming up is Moeen from long on, and they come back for the second.
Yeah, when you get over the line in a few chases, it helps when it is a few close chases as well. It's coming down, even if you're in a precarious situation, you never ever doubt yourself because you've had previous. If you don't chase quite often or haven't had much success, same thing happens. You can all of a sudden think this might be a bit beyond myself or the team, so it does help to have a few successful chases under your belt.
38 for 2. Wood rushes up and bowls short. That's gone up from a top edge. Man coming in. No, neither can get there. Buttler running backwards. And fine leg coming up. He's got away with that. That could have gone absolutely anywhere, and it went straight up. But managed through sheer fortune to land between those two fielders who might have taken the catch. So a moment of luck there. What a high, quick bouncer. It's on him before he was ready for that.
This is what you want Mark Wood to be doing in these middle overs as an enforcer, hitting the deck, bowling upwards of 90 miles an hour and making it uncomfortable for the batters to face and to get away. You don't mind him going for the odd boundary if he can pick you a wicket and just unsettle the batsman and break the rhythm, break the momentum going into the next over.
I didn't see the pace of that one, but he ran about 90 miles an hour, I'd imagine. It was a flat-out bouncer. 39 for 2. Wood again runs in, bowls, and that's a thick edge slicing away off the edge of Conway's bat. Again, he got there a little bit more quickly than he anticipated. Skidding on, perhaps, on a slightly damper surface now, the dew coming down. So a quick ball. And New Zealand pick up one more. 40 for 2. Ball to go in the 7th. Just 4 runs from this Wood over so far against that dangerous last ball of the over. So often go for boundaries. Everyone alert. The fielders have been ready for this, and Wood thinking so far, must not bowl a bad ball here. And he goes and bowls, and that's a perfect delivery actually that Mitchell gets one from. Just short of a length and pretty straight, tucked him up. And that's a really good over from Wood. There's 5 runs coming from it. And New Zealand are 41 for 2. And 7 overs now having been bowled. And if you are tuning our way, England put in Buttler 29, Bairstow 13. Malan played nicely, was dropped on 10. We got 41 from 30 balls. Livingstone 17 was caught before the end of the innings, but it's really held together by Moeen. He made a really lovely 51 from 37 balls. He was not out. And Morgan was 4 not out. at the end. Some excellent seam bowling was saw. Tim Southee took 1 for 24 and a Milne 1 for 31 from his 4 overs. So New Zealand really sharing the bowling around. There were, 7 bowlers used in their innings. There's a rather eccentric performance in the field by Glenn Phillips. He managed to injure just about every part of his body. He also bowled 1 over for 11. But he seems okay. And he should be fit enough to bat if required. 41 for 2. Rashid's going to bowl his second over. The first, quite expensive, went for 10. He's bowling to Mitchell, who's on 16. Mitchell right-handed. Rashid moves in, bowls to him as a reverse sweep. That was what accounted for Buttler when he was batting, but this time Mitchell got plenty on that, but succeeded only in sending the ball to the edge of the circle, where Woakes was able to field, and there's no run. 41 for 2.
I wonder if that shot was solely because of the field, because they had a mid-wicket who's now running over to point. Had that gap between short third and cover that could have been exploited for 4.
Rashid again. Oh, that's a bit shorter this time, so the predetermined reverse sweep put him in a bit of a tangle. Spinning through to Buttler. This wasn't the right length for that. Very nearly gloving it. 41 for 2. 2 dot balls so far. She creeps in, bowls short of a length, tucked away into the leg side. It'll only be 1 run. Through already on the way. 42 for 2. Halfway through the 8th over, the target 167. England beat New Zealand in the previous semi-final of the T20 World Cup in Delhi, a match I'd completely forgotten, if I'm honest. See so many of these games, I just hadn't remembered at all. But I wonder, I might be getting a tangle here. Was it the same day as England's women played in Delhi and they lost? I think it was. This is clubbed away by Conway, down to long on for a single. I think England's women played the preceding match.
Australia or West Indies?
I think they played against Australia. And they got beaten. They were winning it. And they all don't look like that, Isha. I'm searching to you for some inside knowledge here. This is short and pulled away out towards deep mid wicket. Yeah, they take 1 run. They were winning the game. They were chasing. It was definitely Delhi. But I'm probably about 10 years out. Name my memory these days. I think Sarah Taylor got out in a rather eccentric way. England lost. 44 for 2. Was tossed up, driven away, and to long on for 1 run. Coach got very cross afterwards. Australia won by 5 runs. There you go. Thank you, Adam. Popping up my headphones. See, just every now and then there's a little nugget comes out. It's not always the most accurate nugget, or it hasn't always got the most detail. But it's a sort of a semi-nugget. It just sparks a bit of conversation. But let's remember the coach being very cross, because again it was there for the taking.
Who was the coach?
Mark Robinson.
Just pushing the envelope. Just trying to see how much you can remember about the
Yeah, it's about as far as I can go. But it was a shame, because they should have won that. We don't go to Delhi very often, that ground there, for some reason either. That's why Geoffrey Boycott always has his sandwiches confiscated. Now here's Conway coming down the pitch, trying to flick that away into the offside, and there is no run. Charlotte Edwards played. That's why he's your coach at Birmingham, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so there you go.
Good man.
He was quite grumpy that day. But so England, let's have a look at this. The target was 133 from 20 overs. They had a lovely start. Charlotte Edwards 31, Tammy Beaumont 32, Sarah Taylor 21. Something went wrong in there. They caught Healy bowl Farrell. I think that was a reverse sweep. It was something, or a dinky ramp or something. It wasn't really needed at the time. Knight's batting a long way down. Oh, there it is on Cricinfo. Yeah, there we go. There's a nugget. 46 for 2. Soft dismissal. Soft as wax. And see, I would never have said that. Who's the commentator? It's harsh.
Can you have a
Taylor has popped a reverse sweep into the gloves of the keeper. Soft as wax.
Soft as wax.
Siver duck, Heather, Knight 1. And then it all went a bit wrong. Yeah, soft as wax.
Yeah, is wax soft, like ear wax or normal wax?
Hot wax, I think, is soft. Yeah, you're right.
Is wax?
I mean, I think soft as butter, maybe, or soft as. Tuffers has walked in looking most confused. Sorry, Tuffers, we'll explain later. 46 for 2, in goes Wood. Bowls a nasty bouncer, which flies over Mitchell's head. Buttler there appealed for a catch, which doesn't impress Mr. Erasmus very much, apart from him saying, well, that's one short ball for the over. Now, hang on, Morgan's wandering over here, saying, hang on, is there something to discuss here? No, he decides there wasn't. That's the timer. The timer ticks away. So anyway, the point was that the last time that England played the semi-final against New Zealand, they won in Delhi, following the women's defeat to Australia. Oh, Tuffers. It's got an interesting. I do like putting Peach away. He's our sort of our apprentice producer up here. East Fife 4, Forfar 5 did happen in the 2018 Scottish Cup after a penalty shootout. In goes Wood. Bowls, that's clubbed away off the back foot down to point, and they scurry a single. Does that mean it doesn't really count for his penalty shootout? Would James Alexander, he wasn't doing it at the time, but so would the scorer have read out? Forfar 4, East Fife 5. You're getting the hang of it now, Carlos. You can't go East Fife 4, Forfar 5.
Basically, does he Caribbean in me, Aggers?
You just do it that way.
Yeah.
Hey,
just make sure you read it.
Go with the flow. 47 for 2. We're in the 9th over. Wood's on his way, running in hard. Bowls. That was a quick ball. And Conway there managed to get it away into the offside, but that hurried him for pace. Test opening batsman, used to facing quick stuff. 93 miles an hour, that.
150 Ks.
That's hot, Carlos.
This is the best place to watch it.
About wax, Isha.
Hot as wax.
Oh dear. We're glad when these matches are over. 48 for 2. Conway 19, Mitchell 19. And there's one ball to go in Woods over, the 9th.
Didn't you release an album called Soft as Wax once, Agatha?
It's a thought. In goes Wood again over the wicket. Bowls a clubbing sort of a shot down the ground from Mitchell. Picks up one. Bairstow's down there to field. And there's an overthrow. Now that's a bit of a scruffy effort the other night in the field. I'm not quite sure how that happened this time from Bairstow, who seemed to throw the ball in innocuously enough. But it's given away a run. It brings up New Zealand's 50. Let's look at the replay of that. He just tossed it in. Oh, it hit the stumps. Hit the stumps, to be fair. Yeah. So New Zealand seized the opportunity for one more. So, comparison-wise, we like these. England 60 for 2 after 9 overs. New Zealand 50 for 2.
I was just about to say, Aggers, New Zealand getting into dangerous territory where they just gained the odd one, not even getting twos. Can't remember the last time they had a boundary. And when you're chasing in a big final or big game, you really don't want that run rate to be getting up past 10 too early.
Win predictor? What do you reckon gives New Zealand at the moment?
41.5%.
0.5. It's actually 18.06.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, that's what it's saying. I don't know who's that one is. Whether it's the official predictor or not. Livingstone's coming on at 50 for 2. And he bowls, and he bowls either offies or leggies, depending on who's facing. And that was the off spinner to the left hand. It just gripped a little bit and beat the outside edge of a swish from Conway. 50 for 2 in the 10th. Livingstone again floats that up, and that's a cross-batted shot, but horizontal bat really, which sends the ball out to cover. So there's one more to New Zealand. Conway goes to 20. Moeen hasn't bowled yet. Interesting. The other bowls his 4 at the start and does jolly well, or you don't see him at all. It's a funny setup, that. But Livingstone being preferred to him mid-innings at the moment. Well, that win predictor's got New Zealand at 26, so got 2 win predictors. Mine's still showing 16.76. So you've got 2 win predictors. You got also, it just shows that even computers can have different opinions. 51 for 2. Mitchell checks the field. He's on 21 from 22 balls. Neither of them getting away here. I'm with Carlos. They need a boundary. They can start searching for one, I think. Livingstone moves in bowls. That's the leg spinner. And forced off the back foot, but again only for 1. England quite happy with this.
I think it probably on Mitchell to just try something. A reverse sweep, try to get one over short third and point. Maybe using your feet, but something needs to happen, especially after this water break in after the 10th over.
Yeah, you just feel the pressure mounting, don't you? Livingstone round the wicket, then it'll be an off spinner. Oh, it's lofted that out into the offside, over cover, and a man coming in can't get there. So they'll come back for 2, and just a sign there of a little bit of a chance being taken. Pressure mounting. There's 4 from the over. 2 balls to go.
Sorry, there's no boundaries since the last ball of the power play, the last ball of the 6th over, so 22 balls since then.
Well, that is, it's just starting to show. Livingstone again bowls. Conway again hits that down to long off. Can someone get under that? Nope. It's gone for 4. Well, it looked like one of those that might go skimming straight to the fielder, but he wasn't there. Don't know where he was.
Tuffer's confused. Where is long off? Where's Wally?
I was going straight down long off's throat, but he'd gone AWOL.
Yeah, that needed to happen. It was good execution, to be fair. Got close to it, hit it straight back, straight as an arrow.
There's no one there. 58 for 2 with a ball to go in the 10th. Livingstone again bowls. Reverse sweep this time. Oh, very well fielded on the edge of the circle. Moeen alley there. It's a horrible place to field that sort of shot. Spinning, skidding. And he made that look so easy. So, well, that rather surprising boundary in that. However, at the end of it, New Zealand are moving along. I think probably 58 for 2. The scores are gone. They were 58 for 2 after 10 overs. So a drinks break being taken. New Zealand wants some boundaries. And Carlos will reflect on what we've seen and what we may see. And then Isha Goa will take over commentary here.
Yeah, last 10 overs to go. You're looking at 109. Just over 10 over. They want to restart, I guess, in a similar vein and then try to build some momentum coming out of the 11th over and into the remainder of the innings. When you look down the lineup and you see a Glenn Phillips, James Neesham, you're just thinking that it's these two, this partnership, and then you got 2 more opportunities over. With all due respect to Mitch Santner, Adam Milne, Tim Southee, they can hold you back, they can bat well, but you really don't want them to be in a slog at 12, 13 over for the last 2 or 3.
On the flip side, England, 5 bowlers used, no Moeen Ali as yet. Tactical decision by Eoin Morgan in the second innings, not wanting to bowl Moeen Ali to Martin Guptill. They managed to get rid of him, but he wanted to stick with the pace bowlers because of the swing that was on offer. So just the 1 over spin in that power play with Adil Rashid. So it'll be interesting to see whether he does bowl Moeen Ali at some stage, just to give himself a bit of a backup as he gets to the later stages of this game. 10 overs to go.
Maybe if Neesham and Conway finds himself at the crease together, maybe. But I think Livingstone just offers the spin option at the right hand. So if it's right and left, you got Livingstone to bowl off breaks at the left, leg breaks at the right. I think that's more handy in this situation than Moeen's off-east to both.
And of course there's the shorter side of the ground as well. That last over, the shorter side was to the left-hander. And this over it'll be to the right-hander on the offside. So it might be that Daryl Mitchell wants to get Conway on strike to try and take advantage of that shorter boundary.
Yeah,
these are things that they will consider.
Yeah, and when you're looking at setting the game up as well. You talk about missing Tamara Mills in the back end. You want to use this middle phase to put a lot more pressure on what is a weakened death bowling lineup in England. You don't want to give them too much to work with, and potentially help them through what could be a tricky situation if they're only defending 9s and over.
Yeah, England's economy at the death, over 10s. The 8th worst of the 12 teams playing in the Super 12s. Here comes Wood after the break then, bowling to Mitchell, who slams the ball back past him, down the ground straight, and reaches the boundary in quick time. So a good start after the interval for New Zealand. 62 for 2, Mitchell to 26.
That's disrespectful. Oh, slapped horizontally, just about waist height at 90 miles an hour, slapped.
Giving them a gift early on in the over. 64 for 2, New Zealand. 65 for 2, in fact. Taking a look at that delivery, quite clearly that front foot from Mark Wood extending past the line on impact. So they managed to come through for 1, which means England can change the field. And having a conversation now with his captain Morgan, with the 2 caps firmly placed on his head. It's Mitchell on strike.
Nice bit of a freebie for Mitchell.
Where's he going? Full straight or wide of the off stump? Set the field accordingly.
Yeah, you can telegraph which ball you can bowl and just nail. Full and straight, 4 men back on the leg side. Don't think Mitchell will get down on reverse ramp at 90 miles an hour over 3rd man.
Mitchell gets across the stumps and plays it into his body, and it finds its way to Joss Buttler behind the stumps, looking to launch it leg side. It was just a good length delivery, back of a length, angled into the right-hander from Wood, and he gets away with that one. The extra ball and the free hit. So 1 for New Zealand, 66 for 2, 101 needed, and 9.3 overs to go. Conway will resume on 26. Williamson looking pretty calm in the dugout, as he so often does. Pretty relaxed sort of character as Wood. In again, and Conway goes up and over, points out to the boundary. I think that's gone all the way for 6, using the pace of the ball. That is some timing when you think of the length of the boundary, square of the wicket. Conway advancing and extending his hands through the ball off one leg, almost a flamingo shot, but going out to deep point for a maximum 77 metres. What a shot.
Sensational shot. But that's the difficulty when you are a fast bowler. Any good contact can fly over the boundary for 6, but well calculated by Conway, and that's his area.
Conway fending at the ball, this time a lot tighter to the body, to the offside, comes through for 1. Moves to 33 from 26. Devon Conway, 73 for 2, New Zealand, with 1 more ball left of this 11th over. It's leaked a few runs. Mark Wood going for over 10 in this over so far.
But the thing was beautiful about how Conway played that shot is he not only advanced down the wicket, but he advanced outside the line of leg stump to give himself the arms to slash at it, knowing that anywhere behind point to the keeper, you're basically using the pace and not fighting with the pace of Mark Wood, and he used it expertly to get over the boundary for 6.
Here comes Wood. Mitchell bobs, tries to uppercut the ball over Joss Buttler, but it follows him, and it's a good delivery to finish for Mark Wood, banging it into the pitch. Didn't give him the space to free his hands. New Zealand 73 for 2 then after 11. How's your maths, Carlos? 9 overs left. How many did New Zealand need?
A lot.
I think they've come, I think they're now under 10s and over required. That's for sure. And with 8 wickets in hand, I'm sure they'll be backing themselves here. 87.
94 to win, so
94,
just over.
yeah, just over 10s.
So 10.4 and over.
So Livingstone will come on for his second over. Bleached blonde hair. Bowling to Conway, looking to sweep the ball out to the boundary, misses it through to Jos Buttler.
I think there's a big play in the game. Livingstone, you have to think he has to be the more gettable one out to the spinners, but he can also get a wicket.
Short side, the offside. Conway, forward press, guides the ball to short third. Adil Rashid throws the ball in as Conway is out of his ground, but manages to get back in time. So 2 dot balls to start. It's been a good one so far from Livingstone.
You really can't allow Livingstone to go for 6 or 7 in this over. This one needs to be a 10 plus. You need to take advantage of this opportunity. He's a good bowler. When you look along that lineup, he's probably one of the bowlers that you have to target to get a big over.
Here comes Livingstone as Conway swats the ball out to wide, long on. Jonny Bairstow there, throw sent in as they come back for 2, and it's a wide throw in. Jos Buttler looking to slap the ball onto the stumps as it is sent in, but not able to get the impact that he wanted. So an easy 2, 75 for 2, 3 balls left of the 12th. Conway advances, Livingstone stops it with his left hand, manages to get enough on it and doesn't burst through. So a dot ball, a crucial dot ball.
This has been sensational by Livingstone so far. This over is a big play in the game, and so far he's winning this little bit of a game within a game. 4 balls gone in the over, just 2 runs so far. New Zealand need to finish this over strongly.
He doesn't want to offer any sort of width because Devon Conway will carve him up and over, especially to that short side. So that's exactly what he's done. He's punished him between extra cover and wide, long off. Bowls it too wide of the off stump, and he flays his hands through the ball, Devon Conway, much like David Malan. That left-handed drive through the cover region for 4.
He's gone leg break there, or at least leg break action as opposed to off break. I don't think Morgan's happy with it. Give him a bit of room, and he'd gone full and on the Yorker like line the previous balls, and yeah, a bit of room, bit of length. Well put away, Boult.
Final ball coming up as Conway looks to slog sweep out to the boundary, doesn't get the connection, but trickles out to deep mid-wicket, and Billings is off the fence in no time. A single to finish then. 7 off that one. 80 for 2 after 12 overs. Conway 40 off 32 deliveries. Mitchell 28 off 27. James Neesham to come. Glenn Phillips, 2 players who can go big when necessary, but it has been a difficult pitch to start on, even with the dew and the added moisture. So hanging in the balance, you would say, Carlos.
Yeah, and just looking for me, just who do you bowl the last 5? Jordan has 2, and he's certainly bowling probably 17 and 19, 18 and 20, 2 of those 4. But who accompanies him in the back end? Wood is very gettable. Woakes doesn't have the best record, albeit both of them being good bowlers in their own right. So you're just starting to think, how do they link these next couple of overs into the death and get himself enough to go, or enough comfort with a bowling lineup that they're probably missing with Tamal Mills for them 2 in the back end.
Rashid. He's gone 14 from his 2 so far, bowling over the wicket to the left-handed Conway, who's good against spin, who cuts the ball to backward a point, and they'll come through for 1. Scurrying through Chris Woakes with the throw. 81 for 2. Conway to 41. In the 13th over in Abu Dhabi, target of 167 for New Zealand to go through to the finals. England searching for another World Cup final. And a key passage here with Adil Rashid back on. He's got 1 more over after this. Mitchell comes forwards, looks to go big to the leg side, mistimes it, hits the thigh, heads towards point, and they'll come through for a leg bite, 2 for 2. 85 required from 46 deliveries.
Adil Rashid will be loving the fact that he's in this situation where team needs a wicket, the opposition needs some boundaries, he'll be right at home.
Conway sweeps the ball, gets enough bat on it to go fine of Moeen Ali, who's charging after the ball, pulls it up inside the rope, and they'll push back for 2. 84 for 2, New Zealand. Conway to 43 in the 13th. Aggers has returned after his breather. All that talk of hot wax, Carlos. Conway gets out the reverse sweep to Rashid, finds short third, comes through for 1. 85 for 2, New Zealand, 43 of 34 now for Conway, 2 balls left. This 13th over, 82 from 44 required, that's the equation. I'm thinking England just ahead at this stage, that run rate pushing up to 11s now as Mitchell is standing outside leg stump, this time gets inside. Lofts it up and over, mid-off, out to the boundary. It's nearly a stunning save from Chris Jordan. Diving out of the ground, he gets his right hand to the ball, throws it in. I think he might have been touching the rope as he went over, but they will check it. Otherwise, it's a sensational stop. Nearly a catch. He was trying to throw it back into someone, but I don't think there was anyone there. It's a hang time.
Landed on the... That is a sensational effort.
Yeah, he's hang time in the air over the boundary, but as he pulls the ball back in, it's sort of dropped in the process. He tries to have another go at it, and it lands on the advertising sponge as he heads over the rope. So sadly, it will be 4, but he stopped the 6.
I think it will be 6, won't it? He almost
Does
Mitchelled.
it bounce before the... No, it's straight onto the advertising sponge, so it will be 6.
He almost Mitchelled Mitchell. Saw Mitchell with a similar effort, diving backward. Jordan was more vertical in the air and trying to slap it back. But I think that's what the game needed. Just that little bit of excitement. We've got a boundary. We've got something happening in the outfield.
The signal comes from Marais Erasmus. 76 from 43 required now for New Zealand. 91 for 2. A look of frustration from Jordan. He backed himself with that one as the googly is bowled from Rashid. Mitchell playing out to deep mid-wicket. They're going to push back for the 2s. But Conway sends his partner back as the throw comes in. So just the 1 at the end of the over. A good over for New Zealand. 75 from 42 required. Andy.
Well, just something on England's death bowling, which you mentioned, has been quite expensive in this tournament, but they've not bowled a great deal at the death, and certainly not in sort of precarious situations. It was only South Africa really got after them, 71 in the last 5 overs. But over the last 3 years, since October 2018, England's the most expensive team in the death overs. But if you split it between first innings and second innings, they're actually the most economical when defending, but very expensive when bowling first. So I don't know what you can read into that. But maybe that will play in their favour. Today they've got just put 7.5 runs and over since 2018 when bowling second. There's only 9 innings, so quite a small sample size.
Did you say that again? They're more economical when it comes to defending?
Yes.
In this tournament, or...?
No, the last 3 years, there's matches between the top 10. They're the most economical defending team in the death overs, but it's quite a small sample size. As
Mitchell smacks the ball out to wide long on. Full delivery from Livingstone. And pick up 1. Yeah, I wonder if that's because when they win games, they pick up wickets in the power play, and then it's a struggle towards the end.
They take wickets right away through, to be fair. So then they're probably bowling at 9-10 jack, as opposed to set batters that you have now. But it's an interesting stat.
Livingstone in to Conway, who lofts the ball out to long on. ball. Another single. They're going to push back for 2 as well off the throw of Chris Jordan. Livingstone not happy with that. As Conway goes to 46, 95 for 2 New Zealand in the 14th. As Carlos is yawning away, keeping you up. Yes. Conway hits the ball back to Livingstone. I think it's a bump ball into his hand. Not able to catch it. And he looks in a bit of pain there, Livingstone, bowling the leg spinner. Just down low to his right, hits him on his finger, almost traps his finger between ball and right foot. As he comes now to Conway, who is stumped. Jos Buttler, quick hands. Devon Conway advancing down the track, looking to go big straight. It beats the bat, and Jos Buttler does the rest. So a key wicket for England. It's been a long while since they had their last one, 95 for 3. Just pushing that one through, Livingstone.
Yeah, and that is probably the shortest ball he's bowled for his spell. All the previous balls he's been trying to hit that Yorker length, almost not allowing the batter to get under it. Conway decided, let me chip down the wicket, try to get it on the full, and he's dragged his length back nicely, and it slid on with the arm, beating the bat. I'm not sure if New Zealand would be too unhappy with that, to be honest.
46 off 38 deliveries, Conway.
You've got a new batter coming in. Gives a Neesham or Glenn Phillips enough time to rotate the strike and then start to power it. I think at this point in time now is more about small cameos eating into that required run rate. And Phillips and Neesham are two of the better guys at it, especially in this team coming on to the back end. They had a fantastic partnership in Sharjah. A little more difficult with the bigger boundaries, but yeah, I don't think New Zealand will be too unhappy.
72 from 38 required. Glenn Phillips strides out to the middle. He's been in the walls today. Took a knock to the hand, dislocated his finger on the boundary, had to jump over the LED advertising fencing when he was fielding out on the boundary. Had a couple of tumbles out in the middle, got hit for 11 off his only over, the only over he's bowled in this tournament, the off spinner. And here he is now. 2 balls left of this over from Livingstone. Will he look to go big straight away? He generally does like to get off to a quick start, but his strike rate in this tournament has only been 116, which is not great by his standards. Very quick hands. Phillips has a stance like Steve Smith, beats the edge. They come through for a single. Was it a leg by? I think it hit Jos Buttler on the hand. Is it headed towards short third? Just parrying that ball. Did he get anything on it? No, nothing on it at all. It went into Jos Buttler's hands and sort of bounced out of them as they come through for a bite. So 96 for 3, 71 from 37. Mitchell drives confidently out to long off for 1. So a good over from Liam Livingstone. He's gone for 19 off his 3 overs, picking up the 1 wicket in that over. 97 for 3 after 14. Andy?
Well, we often see Liam Livingstone, when he bowls to left-handers, bowls mostly off breaks, but today against Conway, he bowled him almost all leg breaks. And England clearly been looking at Conway's stats. He has a very good record against spin in terms of average, but in terms of run rate, scores much more slowly against leg spin than off spin. Now, Livingstone, very rare amongst bowlers being able to bowl both, and clearly made the decision to bowl off spin to Conway. Goes at leg spin to Conway goes at 7.3 and over against leg spin in his T20 career, over 9 and over against off spin. So it's one of those just sort of granular data-driven stats that's worked well in England's favour today.
But it's a good stat.
It is a good stat.
It is a good stat because Conway's so good, as we mentioned, Isha, through that offside and hitting over mid-off and extra cover. He's decided to try and spin the ball back into him and dried him up a little bit. Good decision and handy if you can do it.
Wood is back. Mitchell slaps the ball to mid-off. Scrambles through for 1. He'll make it as Jordan sends the throw in. Misses the stumps, 98 for 3 New Zealand. Your voice has changed, Carlos.
What's me?
I know. Carlos has stepped out. In comes Bill Tufnell. I just didn't reintroduce you.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, I'm on the edge of my seat here. I'm starting to feel I'm tense here, Risha. I'm tense. I'm chomping at the bit. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty here. This is for a final spot.
Do you feel at home, though? You've got Tess Daly, Claudia Winkleman looking over you here in this Strictly Come Dancing
is that
room
the lower middle order?
in Salford. Phillips back and across, guiding the ball to extra cover for a single. He's off the mark. 68 required from 34.
Should point out he's just talking about there's a picture in the.
Oh, there it is. There.
Rather
Can you not see it?
They're not actually there.
Oh, God.
You were saying we've got Tess Daly, Claudia Winkleman to come. Oh, she's gone mad. Oh, there's the picture. Yes, I do feel slightly more at home.
I wonder how good Tess Daly is against leg spin.
I'll just check the stats.
Yeah.
4 balls left of this 15th over then.
Where's your money, Ish?
I'm going England.
Yeah, just England, but it's just 1 over as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
as I say, Carlos
a couple of blows.
A couple of blows, and Phillips is a good 6-hitter, isn't he? You just feel this could be the over. Mark Wood, he's gone for or the last 4 balls anyway. He's gone for a few.
Sweat dripping out of the helmet of Daryl Mitchell. He's on 38. Wood in as he mistimes it down to third man. Adil Rashid is cutting it off on the boundary. Just throw the kitchen sink at that one, Daryl Mitchell. And it hits the outer part of the bat, flayed away, and they'll come back for 2. So 100 up for New Zealand, 101 for 3. Mitchell to 40, 66 from 33. I mean, in any T20 cricket, you're backing the batting side in that situation. 66 from 33 with 7 wickets in hand, aren't you? But
yeah, one over, isn't it? Either way, England get a good over, goes for about 5 or 6. They're right back in it and really looking strong. New Zealand get an over of 18 or 20 or something, completely turns it on its head again.
Sweaty conditions in Abu Dhabi.
It's absolutely leaking, isn't it?
Mitchell back and across. Uppercut, and it's hit the top part of the bat. It's flown away down to the boundary, over Joss Buttler's head. A short ball from Mark Wood. And 62 from 32 now required.
Yeah, that short ball from Mark Wood is just not working. That's when pace on doesn't work in your favour. He's just had a massive mow at that Mitchell, and he's got a top edge, but that just flies away. Be tempted to get out of this over with Yorkers and just back your skills to get one right in that block hole for 2 balls.
It is one of those situations, isn't it, though, where when the ball is very hard to grip in these conditions, that extra moisture, and we've seen throughout this tournament that bowlers haven't necessarily backed themselves with Yorker when they bowl second. But 2 balls left of this.
Crucial couple of balls here. If he goes for a couple of boundaries, New Zealand right back in this.
Mitchell in the last few balls has mowed his way to 44. 62 from 32 required.
He hasn't been the most elegant knock, has he?
It's been a touch agricultural.
Yeah, but it's been effective. 44 off of 35. He's got him into a position.
Tense. Here comes Wood. Mitchell gets it out to deep backward square again, doesn't find the timing on it, but Sam Billings is in as he picks up 1. Mitchell to 45, 106 for 3, 61 from 31 required.
Ooh.
So Phillips on strike.
His hand must be hurting, but it's his top hand, isn't it?
It is his top hand, so
he's only going to be looking to hit it one way, and that's leg side probably.
So outside the off stump.
Yeah, try and get him. Let's see.
Wood bounding in. Final ball of his spell as Phillips drives to wide mid-on for 1. So manages to get out the over with just a single. 107 for 3. Mark Wood is done in this innings. 5 overs left, 60 from 30 required. That's the equation in this first semi-final. Phillips 2, Mitchell 45. Some thoughts from you Phil about how this is going to finish, and then Aggers to bring it home.
Yeah, even I can do the maths on 60 from 30 to a ball. You're probably just saying that the fielding side has got the advantage there, haven't you? Just about.
Yeah, it's a really tense finish. It's a terrific game. I'd love that picture of Becky Bairstow sitting there chewing her nails off, watching from the sidelines there. But it really is 100 for 3, 5 overs to go.
Woakes still up the sleeve, got one left.
He's got one left.
Livingstone one left.
Yeah, Jordan, of course, for the end has got a couple.
Haven't seen Moeen Ali with the ball, but I mean, it's a bit tough just to toss a bit now and go, well, take us over.
It's too late now, isn't it?
It might be, yeah. You can't bowl an offie in this situation.
It's damp. 107 for 3. We've got Livingstone still continuing. Now that's high in the air, down to long off. Can this be taken? It's Phillips on 2, and it is taken. Billings, safe pair of hands. Oh, that's what England wanted, or at least part of what England wanted. It certainly relieves some of the tension. A miscue, up it went.
Liam Livingstone.
Yeah.
Liam Livingstone gets his second wicket. Tossed up leg spinner. Just a bit full, perhaps, now. And I think that hand is impeding him a bit, because he's had to hit that, sort of try to get it over deep, long off. And instead of that, the bottom hand just tries to come in and come in and come in, because that's the only one with any power in it, and he doesn't get any of that at all. Look at Liam Livingstone absolutely punching the air there. Fantastic wicket, great strike, dangerous. Glenn Phillips has got to go for 2. He was a big 6-hitter.
Yeah.
Good to see him back in the hutch. That's what England will be thinking.
Good wicket that. There's still Neesham though.
Yeah,
and anyone who remembers the World Cup final from 2019, that epic game, will remember, well, in the super over, Neesham getting New Zealand away to a flying start. He's dangerous.
Yeah.
But you know, chasing a target in all of this.
Yeah.
You've got the England team out there. They're together. They're a very strong unit. They'll all be chatting away. They'll know what they've got to be trying to do here. You've got 2 batsmen out there under lights, and the time's ticking away. 60 from 29 balls. So Livingstone's final over. He's taken 2 for 19 so far.
What a little spell for him.
Yeah.
He's really come on.
The discovery of the year, don't you think? I mean, you've got to give Joe Root, I think, Cricketer of the Year. But Livingstone, in terms of what he's done, what he's achieved, and the advances that he's made.
Bat and ball.
In he goes then and bowls, and it's a drive and a miss from Mitchell.
Beauty. That's spun big. He gives it a rip.
Yeah,
just spinning it more than Adil.
Just gripped. 45 from 37 balls. Tension on the England bench watching on as Livingstone moves in and bowls. There's a reverse sweep, but again, he's got nothing to do with it. And in fact, Mitchell picks the ball up, tosses it back to the bowler.
Look at the eyes. Liam Livingstone's eyes are like on stalks.
Yeah. I think the hair helps, doesn't it? He's got one of these blonde dyed jobs. And he goes again and bowls, and another miss.
Beautifully bowled, though.
That's
wide.
3. Oh, is it a wide?
No.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
That's a good bowl.
That's 3 misses.
Yeah,
so this is 4 dots and the wicket.
Oh, what an over. We were saying about
16th over.
Oh, it might be the one.
It was close, and he goes again and bowls straighter, turned into the leg side, going for a quick single there. Mitchell urging his partner on. Livingstone gets to the ball. They think about a second. He's on the edge of the circle. There's men running everywhere. There were 4 there lined up. It was like Heathrow Airport in the old days. 108 for 4.
Liam Livingstone is bowling beautifully. He's getting some deep turn, deep spin. Bowling his leggies.
He's gone for 1 run. He's got 1 ball to go in this over.
Get out of this over.
He's bowled the new batsman Neesham, who is left-handed.
He bowled the leggy or the offie?
He'll bowl him the offie from round the wicket.
You reckon?
Yes.
He's got that leggy spinning.
He has. I think he's going to bowl him an offie, Tuffers.
All right, well done.
Let's see. In he goes. No, he's keeping it up his sleeve there because he trotted in. I think he's having a quiet word with the batsman there about don't go running out of your crease.
So, well, fair enough.
Oh, absolutely. 108 for 4. He grips the ball. 59 from 25. In goes Livingstone. Bowls, firing it down the leg side. It's a wide. Surely, yes, it is. Umpire Damasina had no option there. It was darted in and it just kept going down the leg side. So there's another one. 58 from 25. Trots in again. Bowls, tossing it up. Neesham goes for a swipe. Ball trickles away out towards deep mid-wicket. They take a run, and that is a brilliant over. And that's so brilliant, it's worthy of a note in the book. 16th over, he's taken 1 for 2. plus a wide.
Yeah, we were saying earlier, John, about that New Zealand need a big over, or England need a really tight over, and Liam Livingstone has just delivered there. Finishes with figures of 4 overs, 2 for 22.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Just what Eoin Morgan would have wanted. Really good spell of bowling. As you say, find of the year. Find of the year.
I think his bowling's the find of the year, don't you?
I didn't even know he bowled.
We all knew he batted and smashed it at miles.
He's bowling like a top-class leggy.
Yeah, that's what's really made him.
I mean, we've all seen the odds spin bowler who's got a few overs up his sleeve, haven't we?
Yeah.
But, you know, perhaps an offie or perhaps an orthodox.
Kane Williamson or something like that.
Yes, that's right, but not a leg spin. I mean, that is a proper art.
And Andy, out of all the overs, out of the sets of 4, if you like, that Livingstone could have bowled in this tournament, how has he bowled all his 4s all the time?
Oh, I'll just dig that up.
Have a look.
Just quickly before the next over starts, if New Zealand are to win this, looking at the death overs in terms of the last 5 overs of innings, they've never scored more than 60 in the death overs of a T20 international when batting second. England have only twice conceded 60 or more, but both of those, they still won those games. The most England have conceded to lose in the death overs was the final 5 years ago when TMS's Carlos Brathwaite cleaved the Calcutta skies to pieces.
57 from 24, but I'd like to see a Morgan confidence meter in Livingstone to see if it's always been there, whether it's actually grown as the tournament's developed. 57 from 24, and we've got Lewis, we're talking about. We've got Jordan on, and he'll go over the place. In he goes, round the wicket and bowls. That's smeared away into the leg side. He's smashed it miles. Out through deep mid-wicket for 6.
Crikey, what a pick-up shot that is.
Incredible shot, and the second ball is faced.
Yeah, that is a hack. That's just a free swing of the left-hander. Decent length ball from Chris Jordan. Just free swing of the bat. He didn't even really time it. And it's just powered it over deep mid-wicket for 6.
He's dragged it from outside the off-stump with the angle.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of a skimmer over deep mid-wicket. And second ball to come in and play that. 116 for 4. Mitchell's on 46. Neesham, 7.
Got a great moustache, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a belter.
It's a bit like sort of Biggles, isn't it? A bit of World War II.
Very nice.
RAF look about it.
This is the over that New Zealand are going to have to go. They've got a great start with a 6 over the first ball.
They need 13 per over. Jordan again, round the wicket, runs in, bowls down the leg side, thumps into the pad. Should only get 1 here. Buttler's in hot pursuit. Will they think about the second? They will, because there's no one at the stumps. He gets there now, but he's a bit late getting there. Very good running. The ball just dribbled outside the circle. And someone there is a bit slow getting into position at the stumps where that Buttler had vacated.
He's got away with that, Jonny. He's got away with that. That was really angling into the leg side. He catches up with that Neesham. That just flies over third.
It was Wood. I'd like to see where he came from, how far back he came from, but I think the batsman took one look and saw that one set of stumps was completely unguarded. Thought, well, we can take a second. 118 for 4.
Knows his way around these situations, though, Chris Jordan, doesn't he? This is what he does. Those wide Yorkers, slower balls.
Round the wicket he comes. Oh, that's wide down the leg side. Taken by Buttler, but it's a wide. Morgan just walks back to his position again in the field, impassive.
I don't know whether I like this angle of attack, actually, because if he catches up with them, Neesham, that is flying over fine leg.
Please.
That angle, he's only looking one way. I'd be looking to perhaps try and go wide Yorker outside the off stump.
Well, Morgan is coming up for a discussion here, and they're deciding who they're going to bring where. It's interesting, he does let the bowler kind of control things. There was Jordan there who was moving the field around, waving down, I think, to fine leg, who's now coming up to the edge of the circle. And they're dropping back, so they are going full by the look of it. They're going full outside off because long off's dropped back. And here he comes down. He bowls, he's hammered that down the ground. That's 4. Bairstow couldn't get there. And of course the trouble with this is it does telegraph what you're going to bowl. You make the move like that of bringing fine leg up, you've got to bowl full off stump.
Didn't get it wide enough, didn't get it full enough.
No.
But this is where a little bit of dew on the ball can just start slipping out your hand, can be a bit of a bar of soap.
And it can rush away here. 123 for 4. Neesham's played some wonderful shots here. He's just only come in. 4 balls his face is on 11.
Be a brave man to bowl the slowie now, wouldn't you?
I don't think you can with that. Well,
this is where I've just seen Tim Mills there. This is where we need Mills in those death overs. So difficult to hit, get 10 or 12 and over.
Jordan round the wicket, bowls. Oh, another wide. Outside the off stump this time. Oh dear, it's starting to bite. It is starting to bite. All the experience. Kane Williamson tossing himself a catch there, sitting down, looking relaxed in the New Zealand dugout. But this is what these games are all about. It doesn't matter what format of the game, but when you're the bowler and you've got to deliver, well,
go to the delivery that you know you can execute the best.
Yeah. Here he comes again, round the wicket, bowls almost a wide, he's gone high. Now is there a man out there that can take this, I wonder? There's 2 men out there. Bairstow throws it back, it's a relay catch. Livingstone gathers it, that's out. I'm sure about that, we'll need to see it. We'll need to see it, but that might be one of the finest of these incredible new forms of catches that we've seen. Bairstow running back, certainly went for 6, or was going for 6. He took the catch, he flung it back, Livingstone was there. That might be the best we've seen yet. And what a time to pull it off.
If he's caught it, but he was so low to the ground, and then almost like a scrum half has flicked it to his mate. The soft signal's out.
Well,
this could be one of the best catches I have ever seen.
I remember seeing the first one of these and everyone was just amazed, but they just got progressively more and more incredible.
He should just shrieked in the corner. It was that impressive. If he's so long as his elbow hasn't touched the ground.
Let's see when he gets rid of the ball.
No, 6.
He's touching the rope.
Wow.
He touched the edge. It's going to be 6.
First for the big screen. It will be not out on the big screen, and then I'll go back to the
He touched the rope while he was holding the ball. It's 6. It's a magnificent effort. That full tilt and everything else. But I'm afraid you have to put that down again to being a magnificent stroke from Neesham.
Why are the boundary sponges so high?
It's a conspiracy, Tuffin.
Well. Oh, wow. I'm losing it. That was amazing. Brilliant bit of cricket, that. But it's gone for 6, and this is the big over that New Zealand needed.
Yeah, it's spectacular, this. 2 men running in. I mean, to the naked eye, that's out. But he's just, as he's carried his body over, he's knelt on it. He's actually knelt on the boundary edge. It all happened so quickly.
This is getting tasty now.
130 for 4. There's 23 runs come from the last 12 balls. The target's 167.
How many? Off the last one?
12 balls, 23 went off 12, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot.
130 for 4.
Neesham's doing it here. He looks in the mood.
Jordan's going over the wicket now. A change. It's gone high again.
Oh, my word.
Out towards deep mid-wicket. Can someone take it this time? Oh, it's dropped between them.
That's gone right between
Need to see that again as to whether one left it for the other or quite what happened there, but it just somehow managed to just drop between Livingstone and Bairstow. Is it one of those that the calling wasn't loud enough? No, I think
Livingstone should have perhaps gone hell for leather.
I think it probably was Livingstone's catch.
Yeah, sticks his hand up, Liam Livingstone.
My mistake. And they got 2 off that. 35 from 19. Neesham's score at that stage. Come on, someone could shout it out because I can't see it on my screen.
I think he was on 13 when
Thank you.
This could go out the park as well.
Jordan again bowls very full. There's the Yorker. And it runs away for a single. Wow, what an eventful over.
Wow.
And almost an absolutely brilliant catch. And it's hard. Look, I'm going to put my hands up. It's hard when you're seeing a game of cricket like this to see where Livingstone was, where the ball was, and all of that. It's hard to put a finger on that. But just looking at body language from those out there, and also from Livingstone himself.
Yeah.
I think we have to surmise that he knows he should have caught that.
Yeah, he should have gone hell for leather at it and just called it, because Jonny Bairstow was approaching him the other way from sort of like the deep mid-on. It is a little bit difficult, but when you see it and you think it's yours, you've just got to steam towards it. He just pulled out a bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
What an over that was.
Exhausting. How many were there from that over?
I don't know. I mean, they need 34 off of 18.
Andy, what was off that over?
Hang on, just totting it up. I think 17, sorry.
17.
They've somehow got to stop bowling into the arc of Neesham.
I'm looking at Becky Bairstow.
No, she's not going to have any fingers left, let alone nails.
Oh dear, all the tension.
Here we go.
Now Rashid on his way, and he bowls. Neesham can't time. Oh, now Neesham's. Now they've collided there, and very sportingly, we said this earlier. Mitchell has said, "No, I'm not going to run for that. I got in the way of the bowler. I impeded him. It wasn't anybody's fault, but he didn't take the run, and that's a bit of."
That's very
New Zealand good spirit for you.
That is indeed.
They are extraordinary the way they play the game.
There you go.
So it was 23 from the last over.
23 from the last over. Thank you.
Me and Carlos are just looking at each other saying, I don't know whether I've done that. Oh,
no,
God,
it's a massive hit.
That's gone.
That sounds out of the middle. And it's just falling short of the sheep pens. Over deep mid-wicket again. Neesham's winning this for New Zealand.
Got to stop bowling it onto his arc. He's hit them all over mid-wicket. He's hit them all over mid-wicket. Got to take him a little bit wider and bowl the googly.
That's a length.
Or either that or just, yes, the length as well.
Carlos likes the word the slot, and that was in the slot.
Otherwise you've got to get it up onto his toes, but it's just the length so he can just stick it, clear his front leg and whack it, and he's doing it well at the moment. England in trouble.
It's absolutely racing New Zealand's way. 28 off 16. Rashid again. Buttler standing very wide outside the off stump now, an indication of where he's going to bowl. That's clubbed hard to the edge of the circle. They run a single and they get there. He needed a direct hit from Morgan. He missed the stumps.
I couldn't have played 2020, you know. I couldn't have sat in the dugout. I
could not have sat next to you playing.
I would have had to be. I would have had to be tied to the chair.
You'd had to have a little dressing room all to yourself.
I think I would have done.
140 for 4. Oh, hang on. Yeah, we've got from the. We've got a number 1 go up there for the England camp. I don't know that means we'll bail out or something. I don't know what that means. But that's the indicator from the England camp and what play they should be making. We know from the analyst. It's all very interesting. I don't know what does number 1 mean.
What a knock this is from Neesham. 27 off of 10 balls.
Yeah. Neesham is at the non-strikers end now, though, as Mitchell hammers that off the back foot for 6. Rashid dropping a bit short. And Mitchell reaches his half-century with a 6 off the back foot over long on, which is an unusual shot.
Power. As you say, very difficult to get a good bat on that because it was that short. You've got to just power that with your core and your arms and timing, but he's got a good piece of that.
It's an incredible stroke. Such little room to manoeuvre, to move the arms. Well, England, I'm afraid, need something pretty special here. They really do. 21 from 14. We're in the 18th over.
But Mitchell's first T20 international half-century came from 42 balls, 2 sixes, 3 fours.
Well, it hasn't been the most fluent at times, but he's just stuck around there.
Yeah, yes. Gave him the base to work around, doesn't he?
21 from 14. 2 balls to go in the 18th over. Rashid's on his way again and bowls. He's on the back foot now. Doesn't really time that very well. They'll think about getting the second. Decide not to in the end. Fielder there converges quickly. So Neesham on strike. Still with a ball to go. And I think we know what shot he'll be aiming to play.
Yeah. But it's length as well, John. It's the length that you can just clear and arms swing in your arc. And he's connected beautifully every single time. Ooh, this is a huge ball now here.
14 off the over so far.
If this goes for 6.
Well, I think it's probably curtains if it does.
Yeah.
In goes Rashid. Bowls to Neesham on the back foot, and he's hit that into the offside. He's caught. Caught by Morgan. On the edge of the circle at cover. You heard Buttler shout, catch it.
Wow.
And Morgan was there. However, that is still potentially a match-winning innings. We shall see by the moustached Jimmy Neesham. 27 from 11 balls. He created havoc there for a while. It's the wrong and again, spinning away from him, got a bit of a top edge, the extra bounce. And Morgan, you can see there, stretching out, almost slipped out of his hands.
Yeah.
But the England captain took the catch.
It's the length, Aggers, though. It was the length, as you say. It wasn't that length that you could just swing through the line. It was short of a length in the wrong and always going away from the left-hander, and it just sort of was leaning back and couldn't quite get enough on it. Good running catch by Eoin Morgan. Fantastic knock by Jimmy Neesham. 27 off 11. Really got New Zealand back into this game.
And that partnership, Andy, 40.
Let me just get it up for you. I can tell. Just looking up something on Neesham while I get that for you. He's over the last, since the last T20 World Cup, so sort of 5.5 years of T20 internationals. He's one of the fastest starting batsmen inside his first 10 balls. Goes at 170 per 100 balls. Only Hassan Ali and Andre Russell of West Indies have been quicker than him over the last 5 years.
Who's bowling these last two overs?
Well, Santner's come out. Santner and Mitchell. And Neesham there sitting in the dugout. What an amazing innings that was.
Just dragged New Zealand back into it.
Yeah, 20 to win off 2 overs. Woakes is going to bowl this one.
This is the more important over, actually, isn't it? The one before the last one. You've got to get this down to something double figures.
17 balls, thank you.
Who's won the last one then? Jordan got one left.
Jordan, presumably. What have they got? Jordan's got one left. Yeah, it's Woakes and Jordan.
Yeah, 20 from 12.
This is often the over, isn't it?
Yeah,
the penultimate one.
Yeah, because it could be 8.
That's the important one. And Morgan and Woakes are in deep conversation at the moment. Buttler looks thoughtful. Bowling to Mitchell, who is well set, of course, for the half century. He's on strike.
Good luck, Chris.
The camera focuses on Chris Jordan, who's already, I suspect, starting to think about what he's had to do in the last over. But it depends what he's left.
This is when you love it as a bowler, though. This is when you love it. This is what you're here for, you know.
You reckon?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Little spinner fiddling his overs through in the middle. It's the poor old quick guys who've got to come back.
This is why you're here.
In goes Woakes and bowls and has hammered back at him, almost caught, almost run out. And they'll get one. They're coming back for the second. Santner falling on his sword. Potentially the throw misses the stumps. And they gamble there and get 2. Got all sorts there. It's almost a caught and bowled. Woakes almost deflected the ball into the stumps, therefore running out Santner. And the throw came whistling in from the deep. 2. So it's 18 from 11. 18 from 11 for a place in the final on Sunday.
Couple of dot balls.
So quite right, the Santner there, just going for it. Woakes again, bowls, and that's hoisted down to long on. Is that 6? It is. There amongst the stewards. That feels like a hammer blow.
It does. Standard deliver, wasn't it? Slower ball, off-pace ball just outside the off-stump, but again England got the length wrong and he's just able to power it. He's on 50 odd, seeing the ball like a beach ball.
It's a brilliant shot.
Just smashes it back over deep long on. Great shot.
It's sort of thuggery, really.
Thuggery, yes.
He's just stood there and hammered the ball there, well, into his own team area.
And this is where that dew, it's just skipping off the pitch now, isn't it? As you say, those slower balls and off-pace balls, you can just hang on and just wait that little bit longer and then follow through and catch up with it instead of it sitting in the pitch.
12 from 10.
Struggling.
They are struggling.
Neesham blew it open.
Got to get the new man on strike. Long conversations. What are we going to bowl? But you just don't have many options. That's the trouble. The field requirements as they are. Jason Roy looks anxious. He'd love to have played today. It wasn't to be. Woman there actually in the crowd praying. In goes Woakes. Bowls short. Away it goes.
Ta-da.
Another 6. And there's a bit of revenge being eked here, I think, from New Zealand. They're knocking England out.
Just goes to show one innings, one little cameo innings in T20. They were behind the 8-ball New Zealand all the way through this, really, and then Jimmy Neesham comes out in 10 deliveries, completely turns the whole game on its head. And of course Daryl Mitchell has stayed there and is now absolutely, as I say, thuggery, just pounded that over deep in wicket.
Short arm, there's no backlift really, but so much power. New Zealand players all up on their feet, they're punching the air. It's a brilliant performance. 67 from 45 balls. It's just been so well timed.
Yeah.
So he started a bit scratchily, but
27 off 27.
anything but that now. 27, thank you, off 27 balls.
18.
6 needed. 6 needed. He might do it with this ball. Woakes is in, bowls to him. Out towards deep square leg. It's not going to go for 6. It'll go for 1.
We said it earlier as well, John, didn't we? Timon Mills, big loss.
Yeah.
These kind of positions, this is where Timol's so good, can bowl those quick, fast deliveries at your toes or your head, and those change-up balls. With a man, as you say, like Mitchell, he's in now, he's but faced 46 deliveries, got 68, he's just latching on to anything.
15 from the over, there's still 2 balls to go. New Zealand did 5 to win. And you've got to say, the way they've played in the second half of this innings, they totally deserve it, I must say.
Yeah, the first half of the third, it was all England, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's first 10 overs.
And then suddenly...
Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
10, couple of overs.
Yeah, Conway moved things along,
yes,
didn't
he
he?
did.
Mitchell, in that partnership.
Yeah.
But England haven't been as good with the ball, and you can talk about do or whatever, we might hear about that later, but they haven't had the control with the ball in this innings that we've seen previously. Yep, they're men down. Becky Bairstow still chewing whatever nails she's got left. 162 for 5. New Zealand need 5 to win. Woakes on his way, bowls to Mitchell Santner, the new batsman, who pulls that away out towards deep mid wicket. Only be 1. And now this really does bring New Zealand into the winning zone. They want 4.
Away. 1 blow away.
1 blow away, and England's dream is over.
What a shame. Steve Bruce is looking a bit upset.
Be used to that, wouldn't he? 163 for 5. 4 from 7 needed. Expensive over. But New Zealand just playing as they had to play, and thanks to Mitchell, they're now potentially 1 blow away from a place in Sunday's final. Who they'll play, we'll wait and see tomorrow. Pakistan, Australia. Same time, same place.